touchdown. Along the right sideline, Bortles to Moncrief for the score.
Jaguars football is on the air. This is the Publix Tailgate Show. JP Shadrick and Mike Dempsey have all the news and information you need to get you ready for today's game. The Publix Tailgate Show is brought to you by Baptist Health, Farah & Farah, Geico, Ticket Exchange, and by TIAA Bank. Now to get things started, here are Mike Dempsey and JP Shadrick.
In the midst of a difficult second quarter, the Jaguars hit the road for a second straight week, and this week a trip to Big D. Today, the Jacksonville Jaguars at 3-2 visit the 2-3 Dallas Cowboys, and kickoff set for 4:25 Eastern at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey. We're at the HananiahAutos.com studio at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. This is the Publix Tailgate Show. And the Jags need a win, certainly need one this week against a Dallas team that's been up and down just like the Jags this year.
Well, no doubt, JP. I mean, Calais Campbell said it many times this season, good teams don't lose consecutive games. I don't know if that's quite true, but I understand the sentiment. And look, as bad as this week left a taste in Jaguar fans' mouths, I'm sure the team, the coaching staff, everybody associated with it, you get a win today, you're 4-2, you're a game ahead of last year's pace, and that's the positive. Look, they can't dwell, they can't live in that loss last week. Still 11 games to play for this football team. The question is, do they have enough healthy bodies to make it through the next 11 games?
That'll get us into our top stories today. The Jags and the Dallas Cowboys coming up in Arlington, Texas. It is a banged-up Jaguars football team. It's week 6. Guys get hurt. But for head coach Doug Marrone, it's how the team responds to this adversity.
It's difficult. It's adversity. And it gives us a chance to, show where we can improve ourselves, and do a better job. No one, like I said, no one ever feels sorry for you, and we don't feel sorry for ourselves. But, I kind of get excited. I mean, it's a great challenge now. It's a challenge to play in this league when you get to that level, where you're bringing people in that are getting ready to play for you. I'm excited for those guys to have an opportunity, and I'm excited for us as coaches to see how we can use, those players and the players that we have, to the best of our ability.
Well, he says he's excited about it, but obviously you'd rather have your starting 11 the entire season. It doesn't work like that, and certainly this week with everything that's happened, Wells is going to the IR, Corey Grant's on the injured reserve now, Carson Tinker, of all people, the long snapper, is done as well.
Austin
Safarian-Jenkins to add another one, so you're bringing guys in their place and moving guys up. Josh Walker's making his first career start at left tackle today. That's a lot of moving parts.
It is, but I think you just hit it there. The left tackle position is obviously the key here, as you've lost 2 of them now. Cam Robinson gone. Josh Wells, I thought, played surprisingly well, filling in for Cam Robinson this season. He is a loss at this point in time. Hopefully Josh Walker can get the job done. I'm not here to tell you that he can't, because I haven't seen him do it one way or the other. The coaching staff did see him play left tackle in training camp and in the preseason, and that may be why he made this football team. He was slated to be a backup interior lineman, fighting for a spot with some other guys in there, and showed some versatility. So you've got him out there now, JP, and of course they go out and they sign Eric Flowers, who, the much maligned offensive tackle, formerly under Coach Coughlin in New York. Pat Flaherty's well versed in his abilities as well. Former high draft pick here, and started on the left side. They moved him to the right side. Didn't work on either side really for New York, and that's a team with a struggling offensive line. But the question isn't, is he a Pro Bowl caliber talent? The question is he better than what you have to turn to if something happens with Josh Walker? The Jaguars clearly think he is.
Interesting stuff as the week went on here. One of those additions that the Jaguars had this week, 11th-year veteran running back Jamal Charles. Most of his career was in Kansas City with the Chiefs, last year in Denver, and now looking for jewelry and to contribute to this team.
I mean, I feel like they have a contender team, and I was happy when they called, and I wanted to win the Super Bowl. I mean, that's why I only kept my options open, because I did, want to win. I want to win the Super Bowl, and they have a good chance to do that, so I came here to contribute.
Of all non-quarterbacks, he has the highest yards per rush average in league history, and a guy who did it at a high level in Kansas City for a while. How much tread is left on the tire? Here's the question.
We'll find out. He averaged 4.3 yards per carry on 69 carries for Denver last year. So he certainly wasn't overused. At 31 years old, I don't think that is too old to come in and contribute necessarily for the role that they envision. Doug Marrone mentioned earlier this week that he continues to look at T.J. Yeldon as the guy to shoulder the load. So can Jamal Charles come in and fill that Corey Davis role and maybe give you a little bit more between the tackles than Corey Davis did? Not have that same straight line speed on the outside, but maybe a little bit more make you miss ability. The thing you love is that he's a veteran. He's seen it. There's nothing you can throw at him that he won't have seen before in the National Football League. He's good in blitz pickup, a good pass protector for his size, as well as an excellent receiver out of the backfield. Can run between the tackles, as you said, well over 5 yards a carry in his career. He could run the ball over 100 times with the Jaguars, get 0 yards, and still be averaging over 5 yards a carry. That's how explosive he's been in his career.
No doubt. But now, make the point here is T.J. Yeldon is the starting running back for this team and will get the majority of the carries. That's probably how they envision this thing working out. Even with Jamal Charles coming in, he hasn't played this year, and they want him there just to spell really T.J.
Oh, absolutely. And you add David Williams off the Broncos practice squad as a big body, 6 foot 225, both Scarborough on the practice squad for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So they're churning things there. And, some hopeful reports that Leonard Fournette was running around a little bit on Friday, so maybe his return is going to come earlier than we anticipate. But even if he's not back until after the bye, I think they've fortified themselves with the best available at the position right now.
A running football team needs running backs to be able to be a running football team.
Effective running backs. And Brandon Wilds was not that when he was here, and so that you hope these other young guys, if given the opportunity, can show a little bit more burst.
Jaguars offense trying to work through the next few weeks, according to the quarterback, Blake Bortles.
It's obviously not ideal. I think we were pretty fortunate last year as far as staying healthy, to whereas this year we haven't quite been as lucky. It's part of football. It's part of the NFL. It happens to teams every year. It's how you handle it and how you get through this time. And I think, these next 3 weeks, not looking ahead or anything, but these next 3 weeks to get to the bye week are important with the amount of guys that I think we have down. So we're going to have to grind these 3 weeks out, starting this week with Dallas, and find ways to win football games.
It's a difficult stretch. You look at the schedule today, obviously, in last week in Kansas City, Dallas today, home against the Houston Texans team that needs to get something going, and they have some dangerous weapons, certainly on the defensive side. And then you go to London to face the world champion Eagles, who are playing a little bit better lately. That's a tough quarter of the season. So to get to the bye week after the London game, and then regroup and start that second half strong, if you can just manage this quarter here the next few weeks, and get to that finish line of sorts at the bye week, then this team could be in pretty good shape.
Look, the thing that all three of these next opponents can do collectively is rush the passer. Okay, whether it's DeMarcus Lawrence today for the Dallas Cowboys, Watt and Clowney for Houston, and Philly's got a number of guys. They get the push from Fletcher Cox up the middle, but they have edge guys that can get you as well. So that's going to be the question. You can't afford many more, if any more, injuries on that offensive line. So, hey, Josh Walker, this is your NFL moment. It happens all around the league. We talked about it today. Ryan Tannehill out for the Dolphins. Brock Osweiler comes in. He's nobody's All-American, but he led him to an early touchdown, an early lead against a very good Chicago Bear defense. So nobody's going to feel sorry for you. You got to go out there and perform.
Jaguars defense on the other side of things, playing well, still ranked pretty high in the league, of course, but they haven't been as disruptive as last season. The strip sacks, the takeaways, those numbers are down a bit. The rankings certainly are very high. But for defensive captain Telvin Smith, it's about doing what this group does on defense.
We got to go out and execute. I think at times when you try and push something, or again, we just got off to such a fast and hot start that people thought the same thing was going to happen this year. And because it's not, it's like, what is it? But again, we stand steadfast in it. We 10 toes down.
And they're confident in what they can do on defense, and they're going to get home at some point. I think we've said that a few times this year. It just hasn't happened a lot yet.
No, it hasn't. And today, I don't know if they need the spectacular. They just don't need the breakdowns, right? Because this is a Dallas team that struggles offensively outside of Ezekiel Elliott. So I think if you play good fundamental football against them, I can't believe that Dallas is going to have too much success on long extended drives. But look, we'd all take a couple of splash plays. Defensive scores would be fantastic and welcome at any point in time. And they're certainly capable of doing it, but definitely behind last year's pace in that category.
Cowboys and Jaguars linked in that 2016 NFL draft. The pick before the Jaguars in the first round, the Cowboys selected Ezekiel Elliott, leaving Jalen Ramsey for the Jaguars. Second round, the Cowboys went with Jalen Smith, the linebacker, who was coming off a horrible knee injury in his last college game. The Jaguars traded up a few picks later and took Miles Jack. Did Jalen Ramsey think back then he would be in Dallas?
Hey, God works things out how he wants them to work out.
and you just have to trust his plan. And I would say that it's worked out well for me being here in Jacksonville with this team, and I would say it's worked out well for them as well. Zeke's been producing since he's been in the league.
The Dallas Cowboys had drafted all those high first-round offensive linemen, and they felt like, hey, this is a running back that can really solidify that offense and keep it all together and finish off and have a great running game. And then there was all those reports that they really love Jalen Ramsey too. It was one of those that you'll look back in 5-10 years and see how the results are.
You can only get one, right? And unanswered in that was, did Jalen feel like the Cowboys were going to draft him, right? He didn't really directly say yes or no, at least in that answer there. I think he probably did. I think he thought he might have been the apple of the Dallas Cowboys' eye. So, hey, look, Jalen questionable today. I hope he shows up as healthy as possible and has a little revenge in his heart if he feels that way about it. It served plenty of players over the years very well. Maurice Jones-Drew wore 32 because every team passed on him. At least that's the legend, including the Jacksonville Jaguars. So sometimes that's a great motivator.
All right. Also, a couple Jaguars going back to play their former team today. Jeremy Parnell, the right tackle, who was there for a long time as a backup lineman, and Barry Church, longtime starting safety in Dallas. Those are some of today's top stories. Let's go around the National Football League. The early games are underway, Mike.
They are. Before we get to some of those, though, JP, let's look back at the week that was. Washington Redskins cornerback Josh Norman will not face any further discipline for an incident that happened at halftime of the team's Monday Night Football loss to New Orleans. The Redskins' struggles against Drew Brees on Monday night were compounded by Norman's benching by Coach Jay Gruden in the second half of the 43-19 loss. Gruden reportedly benched Norman for listening to music on headphones in the locker room at halftime while the coach was addressing the team. Norman apparently didn't realize Gruden was speaking when he put the headphones on, which prompted Gruden to yank them off of his head, leaving Norman in a momentary state of disbelief, it's been reported. Instead of arguing with Gruden, Norman got up and headed to the bathroom, and Gruden didn't like it, so he benched him, and that apparently will be the end of that. Thursday Night Football, we saw Philadelphia knock off the New York Giants. NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport reported via sources today that the Eagles' left tackle Jason Peters is expected to return from a torn bicep that he suffered in that game. The news comes following an MRI. Peters tweeted that he could miss a week or two. The Philadelphia Eagles also reportedly reached out to the Buffalo Bills last week to see if they could pry LaShawn McCoy away as they lost Jay Ajayi to injured reserve. The Bills, though, reportedly will not trade McCoy to Philadelphia or anyone else at this point, instead hoping to have him serve as a nice balance to the rookie quarterback Josh Allen up in Buffalo. The Steelers, however, are still reportedly hoping to trade Le'Veon Bell, who apparently has had zero contact with the team, despite reports that he'll return next week during Pittsburgh's bye. He told ESPN's Jeremy Fowler that was the case, that he'd return in Week 7. Of course, there were multiple reports that he told plenty of his teammates he'd be there for Week 1. So you believe what you want to believe on that story. I mentioned Ryan Tannehill out today. Brock Osweiler in for the Miami Dolphins. Dalvin Cook also dealing with a hamstring injury, misses yet another game for the Minnesota Vikings. Latavius Murray going in his stead as Minnesota facing the Arizona Cardinals right now.
All right, a look around the National Football League. We're just getting started on the Publix Tailgate Show. We'll return with First Rounds on Us. Jeff Lageman and Tony Baselli join us from Arlington, Texas for a game preview of the Jaguars and the Dallas Cowboys. A 4:25 kickoff time at AT&T Stadium. And from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, this is Jaguars Radio.
What do our Jags do to beat the heat? Cool down with the smooth and creamy deliciousness of a Yobi frozen yogurt. All Yobi low-fat or fat-free frozen yogurts are made with real milk, no artificial flavors, and some are as little as 25 calories per ounce. So it's easy for our guys to be game day ready. Plus, all Yobi's great toppings and fresh-cut fruit are included. So cool down like the big cats. Visit myyobi.com to find a location near you. And to see all the latest offers and tasty new flavors added every month, download the Yobi app. Yobi is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hi, folks. Frank Frangie here for the best barbecue in town. That is Bono's. Head to Bono's today. 15 locations on the First Coast and 6 more at TIAA Bank Field. You see, Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. You want great barbecue, you want Bono's. Plenty of parking, clean family restaurants, and oh, by the way, the best barbecue you have ever had. So if you want great barbecue, head to Bono's today. The official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Looking to tailgate your dream RV this football season? Visit Campers Inn RV and shop their huge selection of fifth wheels, motorhomes, and travel trailers from the top manufacturers. Plus, with their integrity pricing guarantee, you'll never pay more for freight or dealer prep. There are no hidden fees in their prices ever. As a proud sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're offering this season's game attendees $500 off the purchase of a new RV. Just show them your ticket. Visit Campers Inn RV, the RVer's trusted resource, I-10 West, exit 351, or campersinn.com today.
Massage Envy announces their newest game changer, professionally assisted stretch. Increase mobility, flexibility, and blood flow. Add stretch to relaxing therapeutic massage sessions and you're game ready. Visit any of the 7 Jacksonville area Massage Envy locations in Bartram Park, Fleming Island, Harbor Village, Jacks Beach, Oakleaf, Ortega, and Southside. Text STRETCH to 82257 to receive a free 30-minute professionally assisted stretch offer when you purchase any massage session. Text the word STRETCH to 82257.
Did you hear? The last 2 years, the Jaguars returned a punt for a touchdown, earning local families $100,000 towards a Dreamfinders home. Lauren Brooks here, letting you know that could be you this season. Visit any Dreamfinders Homes model and register to win the Take It to the House promotion for your chance at scoring $100,000 towards your Dreamfinders home. Dreamfinders Homes, homes built to fit your lifestyle.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey from the HananiahAutos.com studio at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. The Jaguars and the Cowboys coming up at 4:25 at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. JTA's Game Day Express is back and ready for action. Don't get stuck in game day traffic. Park at any of the 5 convenient locations and then hop on board and take it to the bank. It's time for First Rounds on Us.
New York Jets, first round choice, Jeff Lageman.
The Jacksonville Jaguars have selected tackle, Southern California, Tony Boselli.
Only way to the top is looking out for number 1, and that's us. Keep looking out for number 1.
For the first time today, we head to AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, and say howdy to Jeff Lageman and Tony Boselli.
Hey, howdy, JP.
Howdy, partner.
Hey, by the way, I got to bring this up before we venture into the football talk. Boselli bought me dinner last night.
That's a miracle.
What do you mean it's a miracle?
Write it down. Write it down.
First of all, Jeff and I had a bet. I can't even remember what we bet.
I don't either.
But I lost. I do know that I lost. So I owed him dinner. We had a...
And I got to say, we did it up now.
It was. Let me tell you this. The check was not cheap.
I'm proud of Tony.
Holy cow.
Wow. How about
it was a...
I felt like I was taking advantage of a rookie. And he was having to buy me dinner last night a little bit. You know, I mean, Tony ordered the expensive bottle of wine.
Well, I ordered it. I mean, this was all me.
Man.
Jeff did not take advantage of it. I said, if I'm going to go out and enjoy a meal, I'm going to go all out, and we ate good.
And it's kind of apropos because, you know, I mean, a great meal. And this, I think, guys, that this is the best stadium in the National Football League that we're in here today.
I agree with Jeff. It's a fabulous. It's not the best booth view. It's the best booth we have. And we have a bathroom in our booth, which I've used. It's awesome.
We have a bathroom, refrigerator, sink. I mean, literally, first of all, guys, I mean, this stadium, it is incredible.
It's amazing.
And in my opinion, the Super Bowl should be played in a stadium like this every year. And I know that around this stadium there's not a whole lot, and it's kind of spread out. But
which is changing, by the way. They're building a live entertainment center around Dallas.
JP, Mike, you guys wouldn't believe the amount of construction going on surrounding this stadium, because the first time that we came here, there wasn't a whole lot here yet. And now there's literally, if it's not already built, it's under construction around this stadium now.
Let's start with the injuries for this Jaguars team. A handful of guys go on IR this week, a handful of new faces in new places. Let's start on the offensive line. Left tackle, where's the concern level today, Tony?
Concern level, I would say it's extremely high up front. overall, I mean, left tackle is obviously the biggest concern because you're basically paying your third left tackle, Josh Walker.
Well, you're playing a guard. I mean, he's a guard.
But, I mean, he's your third choice.
Right.
I mean, that's your guy you're going with today, and they're pretty good up front. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how the Cowboys play DeMarcus Lawrence because he's typically a left end. He does play a little bit of right end, but not much.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Do they move him a little bit, Jeff, because of that?
Tony, I don't see that happening, mainly because, I mean, if you watch the film and watch Jeremy Parnell
struggle
last week against
right.
D Ford, why would you even want to move him over to the side, much like Ngakoue? Ngakoue's not great on the left side. Why would you move DeMarcus Lawrence to the right side when he's best on the left?
And I agree with that. I think they'll get again, last week I was worried about the tackles matching up with the pass rushers of Kansas City, and I said I hope they chip and help out. We didn't, and it cost us early. I worry again about the exterior matchups with the defensive ends. I hope we chip and help them out.
Especially on DeMarcus Lawrence. On the other side, well
both, because you have Josh Walker, Jeff.
DeMarcus Lawrence is a marvelous player. Randy Gregory's a little bit of a question mark for the Dallas Cowboys today. He has a knee injury. He's a questionable on the designation. He's probably their best pass rusher. They also are expecting to get David Irving back on that defensive line.
Who can rush the passer as well.
And he's a good football player, and it'll be interesting to see how much he's got in the tank. Because he's a good player, but he was suspended for 4 games, and then after that he took kind of a leave of absence to deal with a custody battle that he is dealing with. And so if he plays today, I mean, this is the first time that he's played all year. So interesting to see what happens.
But you agree, they have to help the tackles today.
Yeah, and last week they finally chipped D Ford when he was a right end, and it was offensive play number 61. And today
it needs to happen on play 1.
It's got to happen early, yeah, especially DeMarcus Lawrence, and also with Josh Walker, whoever's over there, and tight ends, backs, whoever can help out, they got to help out.
Well, speaking of tight ends and backs, guys, it wasn't only Josh Wells that went out. You had Austin Seferian-Jenkins and Corey Grant, both now on injured reserve. Jeff, I know we talked about this early in the week, but who do you guys think is the biggest loss for the Jags going forward out of that duo?
For me, it's Austin Seferian-Jenkins, mainly because he was a solid blocking tight end, and he was the number 1 red zone target. So, I mean, look, it's never good losing anybody. But, David Greenidge is brought up. He's expected to fill a role, an inline tight end. How can he do? We'll see. He didn't overly impress me in training camp. He's a big blocking type tight end, but he doesn't catch the ball very well. So, I don't know, but that's the way it is. I mean, look, the depth in the National Football League is when you lose a starter, it's not like you're putting in another guy that's going to be great. That's just the way it is.
How about the what do you expect from Charles today?
I don't know.
How many touches?
I don't know. JP, you tell me.
Good question.
I expect 0. I think he has under 10 touches, but he just got here. He's not a young man, and he didn't do a lot the last couple years. After a second knee injury, I think it was the ACL 3 years ago, and really hasn't done much since that injury. So why would you expect all of a sudden that you're going to get the Jamal Charles that was the best back in the NFL?
Yeah, the most important thing is that TJ Yeldon needs to be productive, and they need to run the football a little bit more. I would not be surprised if there's probably a certain number of plays that Jamal Charles has that he – in other words, if they gave him a whole playbook, they said, look, you concentrate on these 15 plays – don't worry about the rest because these are the 15 plays that we're going to put you on the field for, and that's the kind of role that he'll have. And so Tony's right. He's going to get a limited number of snaps. And then after that, David Williams, is he going to be active? Probably so. Can Tommy Bohannon carry the football? I've gotten that asked many times by people. No, that's not what he is. He's a blocker. But he can also – Tommy can fill some roles that maybe Austin Seferian-Jenkins was filling. So – it's going to be interesting to see how Nathaniel Hackett calls this game, guys, because when you have so much change in 1 week, how confident are you in what you would normally have lined in the playbook? I mean, you can't have a lot of confidence in what you normally would have. And that's everything. Going into a game as an offensive coordinator, you got to be confident. Look, I've got these 15 plays, and I feel good about them. Do you feel good about 15 plays with that much change in a week?
Nope.
Nah, that's not easy.
Well, I mean, because it's – and I go back to what we talked about this week, JP, on the Monday show, is this team was built with the philosophy of running the ball, playing great defense, good special teams. You now have a beat-up offensive line, at least on the one side. You have one running back that you can trust that is healthy. You are down a tight end. The whole way they want to play, right now they don't have the personnel to do it. And so how do they come out and change that? What do they do? And it comes back to, in my opinion, right on the lap of Blake Bortles. That Blake Bortles has to play consistent, number one.
What does he have to do, number one?
Consistent.
No, number one, as far as being consistent, though, he's got to protect the football.
He's got to make good decisions, Jeff.
Yeah.
He has to get in the pocket and make good decisions. And because I just don't know if they can play the way they want to. I mean, they can't run it 40 times a game. They can't run it 35 times a game, in my opinion. And so that means you're going to get 40-plus pass dropbacks from this offense, and they're not built at the wide receiver position. They have issues at tackles as far as protecting right now in the pass game. And a quarterback that's up and down. It's going to be very interesting to see how Nathaniel Hackett calls this football game.
All right, guys, on the other side, if Ezekiel Elliott doesn't have a big game, could Dallas do enough to threaten this Jaguar defense?
Not at all.
No.
He is all they have. Their wide receivers are nothing to, scare you. Their quarterback, Jeff and I were talking last night at dinner. He said it best. He has gone downhill since a great rookie season. The offensive line is not playing like it was in the past. It's Ezekiel Elliott. He's got to have a huge game for them to score points and for them to win.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it from a numbers standpoint, he's 41.2% of the yardage output for the Cowboys offense. And as you look at from a touches standpoint, 52.5% of the offensive touches are his. He's the leading receiver as far as receptions go. He is a marvelous back running the football. They do a lot of different things to get him the ball, whether it's shovel pass, screen, split him out wide, and treat him like a wide receiver. I do know this. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott is a third year, and he's still on his first contract. He doesn't get paid enough for the amount of workload that he has for the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, wouldn't you agree, Tony?
He's the whole deal.
He is their entire offense, and they're feeding him the ball a million times. I mean, he is a great back, and the Jaguars have to stop him. Now, Dak Prescott is a running threat. That's the one thing I think that he's kind of bringing to the mix, and they've done more of it lately over the last couple of weeks. Jerry Jones talked about it, and you're starting to see more of it where he's got design runs for the quarterback, but his accuracy and his anticipation is not great. And that's what people want to blame the wide receivers of the Dallas Cowboys. That's part of it.
Yeah, they're not great either.
But part of it is also it's Dak Prescott. He's just not seeing it, and he's not accurate right now.
All right, fellas, we'll come back in just a moment. Get your fantasy picks ready.
I got a question on this. I need some guidance. Are we picking just the 4 o'clock games in the Monday night
and Sunday night? As I emailed you 3 days ago. Yes, Tony, that is correct.
Well, I mean, it just gives you very few teams to pick from.
Gives you 10. You got 10 teams to pick from.
That'll be.
I'm concerned.
You should be. Frank Frangie joins us right around the corner, and a little bit later, Jags running backs coach Tyrone Wheatley gives us some insight to an ever-changing running back room. Jags Cowboys at 4:25 at AT&T Stadium, and from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. This is Jaguars Radio.
At ViStar, we believe in better, especially in helping build a better financial future for our members. So we've reviewed our offerings from the ground up. We've lowered or eliminated over half our fees and enhanced our already competitive rates, saving members more than $1 million this year, in addition to the millions we save them every year. If you believe that saving money is better, join ViStar. We never forget that it's your money. All loans subject to approval, insured by NCUA.
Storm season is here, and JEA is doing everything possible to prepare. We've invested millions in hardening our electric, water, and sewer systems to make them more resistant to extreme weather. By updating your contact information and signing up for alerts, you'll also be better prepared if a storm hits. And in the event we need to restore your power, we can keep you up to date on our efforts and get you back to normal sooner. Update your contact info today at JEA.com. JEA, building a more prepared community.
Be the MVP of your next tailgate with the official wing of the Jacksonville Jaguars from Dick's Wings and Grill. Whether at the stadium or cheering from home, game day every day with Dick's 365 wing varieties, burgers, wraps, and more. And for somewhere to catch all the sports action, Dick's Wings and Grill's 23 area locations have been a local fan favorite for more than 20 years. For the best wings, ice-cold craft beer, and best fans, feed where the big cats feast. Visit DicksWingsAndGrill.com for a location nearest you. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I just saved hundreds of dollars by switching to Geico. I'm as happy as a clam.
Disclaimer. Geico cannot guarantee you will be, quote, as happy as a clam, unquote. The Geico legal team cannot accurately verify clams even experience the complex human emotional state known as happiness. As an invertebrate mollusk living half submerged on the ocean floor, with no arms, legs, or wireless access, what's there to be happy about? A clam's all like, oh, I'm so happy I didn't get turned into New England clam chowder today. Pronounced regionally as chowder. Chowder. Oh, that's so fun to say. What were we talking about again?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Hi, this is Tony Baselli. It's no secret that I love the sandwiches at Daly's Dash. But there's one sandwich that stands above the rest of them, and it keeps me coming back over and over again. It's called the Boss. They pile that bad boy with lots of roast beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions, and of course some Dash sauce. Which, as much as I travel during football season, this sandwich is one more thing that makes me eager to get back to Jacksonville. I could eat the Boss every day. Daly's, a local Jacksonville company. It's nicer here.
Technology today is always changing, but one thing has remained consistent for the past decade in Jacksonville. CSI Tech is your partner for finding the top IT talent in Northeast Florida. Across the full spectrum of IT positions, CSI Tech can find the right fit for you. And with their award-winning People Done Right philosophy, you can feel confident in the results. Call CSI Tech at 800-582-0828 or go to peopledoneright.com and partner with CSI Tech, part of the CSI companies and proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
The Publix Tailgate Show continues right now.
JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey from the HananiahAutos.com studio at TIAA Bank Field. The Publix Tailgate Show continues. 4:25 the kickoff time for the Jaguars and the Dallas Cowboys at AT&T Stadium. Busy schedule at Daly's Place coming up. Brett Eldridge, October 20th. Rudy in concert with the Jacksonville Symphony, November 17th. And then December 1st, the big ticket with Weezer and Foster the People. Tickets at DailysPlace.com. We welcome back Tony Baselli and Jeff Lageman, and welcome in play-by-play man Frank Frangie in Dallas for the first time. Hi, Frank. Good afternoon.
Hi, boys. How's everybody? Great to be here at this beautiful stadium. My goodness, this is a beautiful thing.
It's a big place. It's a big game for the Jags today, and is it going to be a big fantasy game today? What do we got?
Let's recap. Last week it was a big week for Jeff Lageman, who led the way with 86 points and extended his lead to 19 right now over JP Shadrick. Good, JP. Right there with him with 78 last week, a solid second place showing. Nicely done. I was right there stuck in the middle with 64. Frank Frangie got out of the basement after 2 weeks with the low score with a 57-point week, and Tony Baselli bringing up the rear with 50 points last week. Overall, Jeff with 355, JP at 336. Tony still hanging on to third at 280. I'm at 275, and Frank is 257 heading into.
How did I have such a bad week?
Way behind
I cheated off Jeff's list.
Well, you picked the wrong guys. You had Jared Gobb got you 16. You had Melvin Gordon got you 21, and Juju got you 13. So.
Hey, Frank, you need to fire your guy.
I went first to worst is what's going on here.
You need to fire your guy.
Thing.
Yeah, Frank
he got me a trophy last year, though, Lars. Can you fire him 1 year after the trophy, though, Lars?
Yeah. If you're a Yankees owner, yeah, absolutely.
That happens. Then you just hire him back. And
that's right.
Do it again and on and on. All right, so the draft order this week is Tony, Frank, myself, JP, and Jeff. And as previously discussed, all the guys who have not kicked off are eligible. That leaves you just with 10 teams to choose from today. Ooh. And Tony Baselli, the floor is yours.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. Nice selection right off the top on Sunday Night Football. All right, Frank, you're up next.
Jared Goff, please.
Jared Goff going in the snow game today for the LA
good
Rams.
Good call, Frank. Don't worry about the weather.
I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes. Go head-to-head there with Tony Baselli.
The no defense game, Demps?
I'm hoping, brother. They got a 59.5 total in that game. That's one of the
highest
I've seen
to have
in the
an
NFL.
Offensive player.
Yeah.
JP, you're up.
Well, give me T.J. Yeldon.
T.J. Yeldon.
That was my guy.
He was sounding like Tony's guy. Jeff, you got back-to-back picks here.
All right, I will take. Let's see. I'll take Tyreek Hill. I'll get in on some of that action.
Okay.
And I will take Aaron Rodgers.
Rodgers, Monday Night Football. All right, JP, back to you.
Travis Kelce.
Dang it.
Nice selection
Got
there.
you again.
Like it. I'm going to go Devontae Adams. Get a little of that Monday Night Rodgers mojo, I hope. Frank, you got Jared Goff, need a running back or a receiver.
How about Kareem Hunt?
Kareem Hunt, excellent pick there. Tony Baselli, need your running back and your receiver here.
So I'm going to go with Gronk.
Okay.
I need a running back. All my running backs have been taken. Let's go with we're going to go with – this is a tough one. We'll go James White.
James White, nice pick there. All right, so he's going the all-Patriot squad. Frank, need a wide receiver, please.
How about Robert Woods?
Woods. I'm the only one who hasn't used Todd Gurley, so I'll use him now. JP, need a quarterback.
I can't believe I'm going to pick Marcus Mariota, but I'm going to do it.
Oh, no.
I'm going to do it.
Mariota,
I'm out of guys.
Here we go.
Only 10 games, and I've picked every other quarterback available.
Baselli's dinner bet is starting to come into focus right now.
This is where it all starts working out.
You know he's hungry, too, after taking a Loggeman out for dinner. Jeff, you need a running back here.
Oh, man. Alfred Morris, right? Is he with San Francisco now?
He is with San Francisco.
Should I take him or Lindsey?
Be a tough call.
That Rams defense is terrible.
Yeah, right.
It is.
Yeah.
Go look at the numbers. Go look at the
in the running game.
They're not. They don't stop anybody.
All right, I'll take Lindsey.
He's right, though. Chris Carson and Mike Davis both had big days for Seattle.
I mean, they don't. I'm not. I mean,
all right,
you're winning. I mean, I should lie to you, but
here's what we got. Tony Baselli's got Tom Brady, James White, and Gronk with the Patriot trio. Frank with Jared Goff, Kareem Hunt, and Robert Woods. So he's got the hookup with the Rams. I've got Patrick Mahomes, Todd Gurley, and Devontae Adams. JP went in Traderville and took Marcus Mariota, but he countered it with T.J. Yeldon and Travis Kelce, and Jeff has Aaron Rodgers, Phillip Lindsay, and Tyreek Hill. Plenty of good players on all of our teams right there, despite only having 5 games to pick from.
You didn't see my quarterback pick, did you?
Well, other than that.
Thanks a lot.
Good luck, guys.
There you have it. Fantasy picks are in. We'll hear from Jeff and Tony coming up just a little bit later. It's time for the Frangie File. We visit a little longer with the voice of the Jags, Frank Frangie at AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas, where everything's bigger, apparently. Frank?
Yeah, and this stadium is big. I tell you, it's it's the biggest broadcast booth of all time. Just we got a bathroom, JP.
All right.
Broadcast booth with a latrine. So you just make sure you understand that's going on here.
Convenience.
Yes.
That's the most important thing when you're on a broadcast there. We're talking about it in the studio today, Mike and I. I mean, it's not a must-win, because those only exist, I think, when you have to get in the playoffs or in a playoff game, right? Well, it's pretty darn close, right?
Yeah.
Because of this quarter ahead in the next few weeks here. You got a division game next week at home. You're going to London the week after that. You're beat up on the offensive line and on offense as a whole. And it's a Dallas team you ought to beat, right?
You got to keep your place in line, JP. I think that's why early games can feel like must-win. When you get out of line, it's hard to get back in line, and that's what this is. Jacksonville wins. You keep your place in line. You're the top or the worst tied at the top of the division. If you lose and you fall back, you lose again, you fall back. The other thing, too, is for whatever reason, 4-2 sounds so much different than 3-3, so I do think it's an important game. Having said that, of all the stats people have read out all week long, and you guys have read them, we've read them, of all the stats we've kind of regurgitated, the one that resonates with me is that the Jaguars are 8-1 under Doug Marrone after losing the previous week. Further, they've outscored their opponents 231-78 in those 9 games. JP, I don't think that's an accident. I don't think that just happens. I think he does as good a job as anybody I've been around at forgetting yesterday, getting refocused, so I feel good about that for that reason, among others.
Frank, can't say the defense has been bad this year. They lead the league in total defense. They're tied for third in fewest points allowed. But fair or not, don't you have to ask more of the defense right now with the offense suffering so many injuries?
Yeah, a little. Yes. For that reason, Mike, the injury reason, yes. I've always believed that two things go hand in hand. And I can't tell how many defenses, both at the college level and the pro level, that I've seen all of a sudden they struggle when they were supposed to be great. And people say, why did they allow that drive if they're such a good defense? Well, the truth of the matter is, if the offense is going 3 and out, and the offense is going 3 and out, and they're running back on the field, that affects defense, and I think it's affected this group. So, yes, you ask more of them because the offense is so wounded. But I agree with the first thing you said. I think this defense has been pretty good. There have been moments they weren't great, but I don't think this is the defense. I think more than anything else, this has been a defense that's had to run back on the field, Mike, at least for me, too many times and too fast.
Okay, Frank, we got to shorten it up a little bit today. Have a great call in Dallas from the corner view from the spacious broadcast booth.
I will do it, fellas. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Frank. Frank Frangie, voice of the Jags in Big D. We'll return to the Publix Tailgate Show with Jags Director of Player Development, Marcus Pollard. Plus, a little later, Jaguars running backs coach Tyrone Wheatley. The Jags and the Cowboys at 425 in Arlington, Texas. And from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, this is Jaguars Radio.
If you are considering selling your home or just wondering what your home might be worth, it's important to talk with someone you can trust, a Weichert agent. Your Weichert agent will prepare a marketing plan that will help you arrive at the optimum selling price and will expose your home to more buyers faster. Contact a Weichert Realtors affiliate today by calling 1-800-USA-SOLD or visit Weichert.com to find the office nearest you. Weichert. Local, knowledgeable, personal service. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
In Florida, bicyclists have the same rights and responsibilities as everyone else on the road. So when you ride, follow the rules. Always wear a helmet and use lights on your bike. And drivers, watch for cyclists. Give them space to ride. And don't forget, when making that right on red, look to your right first to see if a cyclist is approaching in the bike lane. We all have a responsibility to keep ourselves and each other safe. Alert today, alive tomorrow. Because safety doesn't happen by accident. This message brought to you by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Okay, so we're here to see who's going to go for the win. First off, Molly took it to the next level with the chairs and the coolers.
Here comes Emma, bringing it with those killer boots and that portable grill. Oh my, I think she's going for it.
Mom, I think the hot dogs are on fire.
Hold on, honey. Ladies, where did you go to get ready for the game?
Steinmart. Visit any one of our 6 locations in Jacksonville for all your tailgating needs as we proudly support the Jaguars this season. Steinmart. Saving is a beautiful thing.
Some things make a house your home. Like cozy indoor warmth that makes bare feet on a chilly day your thing. When heating with natural gas, you get faster, warmer comfort, save money, and earn a rebate up to $725. Your home. Our safe, reliable, efficient energy. Love natural gas. Find rebate details at peoplesgas.com.
Who's the Jaguars MVP? At Mellow Mushroom, it all depends on their favorite ingredients. Each month of the 2018 season, Mellow Mushroom will highlight a Jaguars player's most valuable pizza and raise money for a charity of their choice. Try the Funky Q and support Blake Bortles and the Blake Bortles Foundation and its work with first responders and individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Visit mellowmushroom.com and find a restaurant location near you. Brooks Rehabilitation is the official rehabilitation provider for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Brooks offers rehabilitation services such as inpatient care, outpatient therapy, skilled nursing, home health, assisted living, and memory care. They also have a wide range of community programs, as well as a comprehensive pediatric program. Brooks offers high-quality care from their expert clinical team to help you meet your rehabilitation goals. To learn more, visit brooksrehab.org. That's brooksrehab.org.
The Publix Tailgate Show continues. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey from the HananiahAutos.com studio at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. It's week number 6. The Jags and the Cowboys, 4:25 the kickoff time at AT&T Stadium. Let's go back to Dallas and welcome in former NFL tight end and Jaguars Director of Player Development and Youth Football, Marcus Pollard.
Holding it down.
Yes, you are. In Big D today, the big stadium there in Arlington, Texas, the Jags and the Cowboys. Let's start off with Boy, Marcus, the MASH unit that is the Jaguars offense right now, it is beat up, banged up. The IR list continues to grow, and a very difficult week when it comes to guys going down and new faces coming in.
Yeah, it's always a difficult time when you have that many guys that go down in 1 week when you have to get ready for a game. And so, but it's the same adage that I think everybody goes into each week. It's next man up. We're all pros. We have to find a way to get a win. Whether we're banged up or not, we got to find a way to get a win, and today is one of those games.
What do you know, if anything, Marcus, about David Grinnage, who comes up to replace Austin Seferian-Jenkins? We heard a lot from Tony and Jeff talking about the need to chip these pass rushers. You lose a running back, you lose a tight end, you're going to have some inexperience at both spots.
We have to have a bunch of chips today from both backs and tight ends. David Grinnage is a big-body guy, but I think he's more of a receiving tight end than he is a blocking guy. So, with that being said, I think Nathaniel's going to do a great job of finding a way to get our tight ends involved where they don't have to do the grinding that Mercedes or Austin Jenkins could do. So we'll find a way to get them on the edge, get on the edge of these, defensive ends who aren't real big. It's not like Calais Campbell they're having to block, but more of a lightweight guy, kind of like Yannick, that can get on them, stay in place, and then give the opportunity for the back to find some seams and get it downhill.
I'm looking at the Dallas Cowboys depth chart and roster right now, and there's no Jason Witten on there, and that's just weird, isn't it? Yeah,
that is weird not to have him around. A guy that did it for so long at a high level, one of the, in my opinion, one of the cornerstones of this franchise. Great tight end, first ballot Hall of Famer, and to not have him around is probably a tragedy for them.
What do you make of Dak Prescott, who kind of took the league by storm in his rookie season? He had the cover of a great running game with Ezekiel Elliott coming in the same year, but hasn't quite been the same guy since, Marcus.
Yeah, it's tough for a guy like Dak. When you're playing for a franchise like this, and it's the star, and it's the Cowboys, and everything that has to offer with Dallas, you can kind of get caught up. And I don't know if Dak has gotten caught up, but he still has a great running back behind him. I think they still have one of the premier offensive linemen if you put the whole line together collectively. And so they're still doing the right things. I think Dak just has to find a way to settle in, make some throws, hopefully not making them today, because he's playing one of the better defenses in the league in our defense.
Okay, it's time for the high school player and coach of the week. What do you got for us, Marcus?
So this week's CSX High School Player of the Week is Ken Logan, a senior from Pablo Menendez. Ken had a 20-yard touchdown with 41 seconds to go in the game, and what a great way to end the game and to win it for his team. This kid displays great leadership. He's a 4-star ESPN athlete, has a 3.0 GPA. The coach said he has the it factor. He's always aware and intense and intelligent. So congratulations to Logan for CSX High School 6th Player of the Week. The Whataburger High School Coach of the Week goes to Kevin Brown from Fletcher High School. Coach Brown is committed, family, school, respect for the game, has a passion and a sportsmanship that he teaches his players to have. Be on time, be patient, give everything you got at all times, stay humble, and be aware for every situation. So congratulations to Coach Brown, week 6 Whataburger High School Coach of the Week.
And he gets what?
That coach will receive $1,500 to go to his program to be used in any way he sees fit, and will also enter him with an opportunity to win an additional $3,000 if he wins High School Coach of the Year.
Very nice. Well done, Marcus, and enjoy the game today in Dallas.
Thank you. I'll be holding it down.
Yes, you are. Marcus Pollard, Director of Player Development for the Jacksonville Jaguars. PRI Productions, the Southeast full-service event company, has everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com and learn more. Tyrone Wheatley is the running backs coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He has quite a task on his hands right now. A lot of new faces in that room. A guy who played in the NFL for a long time. 10-year career in the National Football League for Tyrone Wheatley. Quite a challenge this week. We caught up after practice.
Doug Marrone said earlier this week that all these transactions and changes, it's adversity, and it's how you battle through a week like this week and how the guys bounce back. That's the big important thing this week, right?
Well, yeah, of course. Once again, adversity always shows character. All the cliches you ever heard about in building team, character, and whatever else you want to call it. I have the easier deal because he's obviously the head coach, and he's looking at it from a broader scope and a bigger picture, where I'm looking at it through a tiny microscopic lens, and meaning I just have my group. and they've done a good job of bringing some guys in. I kind of laugh and joke with these guys. I say this is the smartphone era, so it's plug and play. You already come with the apps and already included. And a guy like Charles, he's super Pro Bowl guy and experience. And so, he comes in with the knowledge, and it's just basically getting him caught up to speed. And just honestly get him to understand this is our team, this is what we expect, and understanding the culture. And these guys have done a great job of coming in and understanding that with the short notice and playing him plug and play, so to speak.
For a guy who's now going into his 11th season in the league, Jamal, what's he feeling like right now? You played, 10 years in the league. After that many bumps and bruises and hits and bangs, how much tread's left on the tires for him?
Well, each guy's different, and depends on how well he took care of his body previous years and coming in. And basically, Jamal is really a guy who's a slasher. I mean, he can give you the thump, meaning he can put a shoulder pad into you and deliver a blow when he needs to, but that wasn't a bigger part of his game. He was a guy who really didn't take many hits. But his injuries came in terms of soft tissue and knees, in terms of a lot of torque and a lot of cutting and things of that nature. So to determine how much tread is left on the tire, that's soon to be determined. But he looks good right now. And unfortunately, you don't have to look for the future. You're not worried about how much tread is left. I just need to get to the next stop. And if he's doing well then we'll just continue going until, as they say, the wheel falls off.
You said, of course, he's a Pro Bowl player. He's been around the league for a long time. What is the challenge of getting him ready in a week like this? What is the most difficult thing for him to learn? Is it protections? Is it the calls? What is it? What sticks out this week?
Really, it's just the verbiage. Okay. Like I say, he's a guy who's played. So now it's just basically just taking the lingo and the verbiage and just putting it together. Okay, what we call this hotcakes here, and now it's called potatoes. It's just basically just bringing it together and just understanding what we call it. And sometimes protection is the toughest thing, but once again, he's a pro. He's seen different looks. He's seen the blitzes. He's seen the pressures. So now all he has to do is, once again, is just put a word to the protection and just now memorize it. So, and that's the biggest deal.
For a guy that's coming off a practice squad, Dave Williams comes here as well. You put a veteran in this situation, it's probably a little bit easier for that kind of guy than it is a rookie coming off a practice squad to jump in and be totally ready right away. Is that kind of how you feel? And how has Dave Williams been?
And he's been doing absolutely well. So just sometimes I feel it's getting the rookie ready first is better than a veteran, because a veteran, like I say, those words and the lingo is kind of etched and ingrained in his skull. And so, but a young guy, he's learning. So it's all new to him. You can call it dirty old brown shoe. Hell, it's new to him. So he's okay, and he's doing a great job of learning. He's picking it up as fast as well. But like I say, so you're looking at both ends of the spectrum. I have an 11-year guy who's seen it. Now we just have to put a word to what he's seeing. Now you have a new guy. All of it's new. So he's learning it from the get-go. But to tell you what the greatest thing about both of those guys is that they are excited for the opportunity. They're working hard. They're putting in the hours. And that's all you can ask for.
I think the MVP of the offense early in the season has to be T.J. Yeldon for everything that he's had to do and has been called upon to do with Leonard out. And now the adversity of last week, he's really the only true option you had in Kansas City. And he's playing well in that role. He's stepping up. It's a big year for him personally, big year for this football team. What have you made of T.J.'s performance, and how has he improved as this year has gone on?
Well, the one thing we talked about, we'll start with the improvement first. The one thing we talked about improving with TJ was just being a little more decisive in his running, meaning when you get your shoulders turned upfield, go. He was always looking for an extra hole to take or extra yardage. Hey, take what's given to you. I use the term C3, get 3. Just go get it. The old thills, bird in the hand beats two in the bush. Stop looking for the bushes, man. Take what's in front of you and get it. And he's doing a great job of that. I mean, he's hit some holes where you didn't think it was anything there, and all of a sudden he squirts out the backside for some big runs. Also, what he's done a better job of taking care of his body in the offseason. And what a lot of guys don't understand is, yeah, you're 22, 23, 24. Man, I feel great. All of a sudden, 25, 26 hit. It's a dramatic drop-off. But if you take care of your body, and when things like this happens, and you have to take 60 to 70 plays, the work that you've put in the offseason, it pays huge dividends now. And I think that's one of the biggest things I'm most proud of TJ, is that he really did his due diligence and took care of himself in the offseason, because as you can see now, he's really doing it. I mean, a guy can be as talented as he wants to, but if he can't handle the strains of the job, then you never get a chance to see the talent come through. But TJ has done the work, put the work in, so now you're able to see what he's able to do.
Great to see you as always. Appreciate your time.
Appreciate it. No, thank you very much.
Tyrone Wheatley is the running backs coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Good in-depth thoughts there about the new faces, how they transition in here, and then what TJ Yeldon has done early in this season. TJ is not a home run. He can't score from everywhere on the field like a Fournette can, but he can make guys miss. He can do some things in the passing game, out of the backfield, pass protection, and give you enough in the run game that they're confident. But for TJ, it's a big year for him. It's a contract year, first of all, and he's playing well in a spot where they really need him to perform.
He's a good, solid all-around back. I think for him, in a contract year, he'd like more work. I mean, last week, averaged 5.3 yards a carry, only got the ball 10 times on the ground.
That's right.
But he is an excellent receiver out of the backfield. I don't know if he's a true lead back in the National Football League. He can be that in a pinch. He's certainly a guy that you love to have on your football team, and I think we all noticed in the offseason he looked like he was in the best shape of his career. He looked more explosive, quicker in and out of his cuts. And, so let's hope that continues because he's been playing at less than 100%. Mm-hmm. So, getting off the injury report, just going out there, being able to handle a full workload, let's hope he's getting closer to being that 100% healthy guy because who knows when Leonard Fournette's going to be back.
Yeah, this would qualify as a pinch, I believe, right now
Big
for
time,
the Jaguars.
Right? I mean, look, this is not a big a pinch as some other positions right now, but Leonard Fournette, you expect to be the focal point of your entire offense. You think he's going to be the best, most explosive playmaker that you have. So when you're without him, as they've been for all but about a game's worth of action this year, TJ's been relied on a good bit. He's really come through in the passing game. Just want to see him get more opportunities today on the ground.
All right, we're back in a moment. The second hour of the Publix Tailgate Show. Top headlines of the week. Wide receiver Dede Westbrook visits with Mike Dempsey, and a closer look at today's opponent with the voice of the Cowboys, Brad Champ. The Jags and the Cowboys tee it up at 4:25 Eastern Time, and from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, this is Jaguars Radio.
The First Coast will see green when the Jacksonville Jaguars take the field this season thanks to SunPass. For every regular season first down recorded by the Jaguars in 2018, SunPass will make a donation toward the planting of new trees in Jacksonville. A run by Leonard Fournette, a pass from Blake Bortles, every first down turns over a new leaf right here in Northeast Florida. Visit jaguars.com/trees to learn more about First Downs for Trees presented by SunPass. Get ready to go green, Jags fans. #JagsPlantTrees.
You say there's nothing quite like the feel of the open road when you ride a motorcycle. You know it takes concentration, knowledge, and skills beyond those required to drive a car. Ride Smart Florida would like to take this opportunity to remind you to enjoy the road, but to always ride smart. SMART. Say no to drinking and riding. Make yourself more visible to motorists. Always wear your helmet. Ride in control. Train regularly and get endorsed. Visit RideSmartFlorida.com for more details. Do you ride smart? This message is provided by the Florida Department of Transportation.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? You build the legendary F-Series trucks, America's best-selling trucks for 41 years, with Super Duty and Motor Trend's 2018 Truck of the Year, the F-150. Now is a great time to check out Ford F-Series trucks with great offers, leases, and financing at your local Ford store or online at buyfordnow.com. America's best-selling based on 2017 calendar year sales. Best-selling trucks based on sales December 1976 to November 2017.
Yingling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to tap into their inner eagle and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. Liftoff. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So fly over the radar. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
This is the Pepsi that your father drank and your grandfather drank.
When I was your age, we were.
This is the Pepsi that your Uncle Ted drank when rock sounded like this. This is the Pepsi for American pastimes. Whether you're tailgating at a speedway or courtside watching your favorite player make a breakaway,
He scored!
This is the Pepsi for those who are forever fun. This is the Pepsi for every generation.
The Publix Tailgate Show continues right now.
We're back the second hour of the Publix Tailgate Show. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey from the HananiahAutos.com studio at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. 4:25 the kickoff time for the Jags and the Cowboys at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. A series history. Well, these teams don't meet a lot. They meet every 4 years or so. 3-3 even. The last time these teams met was back in London in 2014, a 31-17 win for the Dallas Cowboys that day. Two Jags that played for the Cowboys were still on the Cowboys then. That's how long ago it was. Jeremy Parnell and Barry Church. And in that game, Mike, we've done a little research here. Jeremy Parnell had one play as an eligible receiver on a running play to DeMarco Murray, a 5-yard run in the second quarter. He also played 6 special team snaps that day for Dallas. Barry Church had 2 tackles and a fumble recovery of a Denard Robinson second quarter fumble, which was forced by George Selvey, a former Jaguar.
That was I remember that. I was at that game with you. That was that fumble may have been the turning point of that game. Jags had some good early momentum in the football game.
They were leading the game
in a struggling season, and it all kind of fell apart from that point on.
Certainly did. And a big one today, the Dallas Cowboys, a loss, a win, loss, win. They've won both their games this year at home. They play well there. The Jaguars are up and down, and they've kind of had some fits and starts early in the season, especially on the offensive side, and it's a question of which one's going to show today.
Yeah, look, I think you're going to see similar teams, and I think you're going to see teams that are going to struggle to move the football consistently. They're going to rely on their running games. I think the Jags have a little bit more speed in the wide receiver core, but we'll see if Blake Bortles can be more consistent than Dak Prescott. Ezekiel Elliott's going to be the best offensive player on the field for either team today, at least skill position guy. I mean, Tyron Smith is probably the best because he's the best left tackle in the National Football League. And, that's the thing about that Dallas offensive line. They may not be what they were at their peak a couple of years ago, but they're still in the upper third of the National Football League. You got 2 of the guys who arguably, along with Zach Martin, along with Smith, are the best players at their position. You've got that. You've got something going for you up front.
Let's get to the top stories today, starting off with the Jags trying to battle through the injury bug and trying to bounce back from a loss as well. And for the head coach, Doug Marrone, it's time to move forward starting this week.
We're still developing as a team the same way we were last year. Still trying to make sure we can come back and get a good plan together, have a good week of practice. We got, Greenwich is up, for the tight end position. We got the 2 running backs. We got the offensive line, so it's excited to get those guys kind of caught up to speed. And defensively, we're still pretty healthy, so that's good.
Not an ideal situation on offense with all the new faces, but it is what it is. I mean, this is the team you're going to play with.
Yeah, there are a couple of exciting players. There are a lot of Jaguar fans that were clamoring for Bo Scarborough to be on this team as a draft pick way back in the day. And I think the Jags liked him late, didn't fall the way they needed it to for him to become a Jacksonville Jaguar, and he's been on and off that practice squad with the Dallas Cowboys. So he's on the Jags practice squad. But I think people look at David Williams and they don't know what to expect, but you look at the scouting report, he's a guy who can catch the football a little bit, big, powerful guy. I don't expect him to light the running back room on fire with his ability, but, just some new blood in there, and hopefully if you've got to move on at a certain point, if T.J. Yeldon needs a spell, Jamal Charles, if he's not able to handle a big workload immediately, maybe Williams gets a few carries today.
Josh Walker expected to make his first career start in the NFL in his 4th season in the league with Cam Robinson out for the year. Josh Wells is on IR now. It's up to Walker, but he says he's prepared to play it.
So I think just having a grasp of the game, understanding the game. I think a big thing is going to be silent count this week, something I got to work really hard at. But the biggest thing is to understand the game, from being a backup that plays multiple positions. I've been subject to studying all 5 positions across the board, so that's good.
Yeah, he was all over the place in training camp, and the versatility helps here.
Well, yeah, and look, he's right about the silent count, because if you have to peek inside to watch for that snap, look out because, depending on whether he's matched up with DeMarcus Lawrence or not, whether it's Randy Gregory or anybody else, that can give that defensive end just that half-second step that is all it needs sometimes. A defensive end only needs to make 1 or 2 plays a game to feel like he's beaten you as an offensive tackle. So it's something to watch for today.
Jags safety Barry Church headed back to Dallas, where he spent the early part of his career. And on Jaguars Happy Hour Wednesday, he talked through some of the emotions of going back to Big D.
Trying to keep the emotions low, but, 7 years there. I mean, all my teammates there for so long and all the coaches and stuff. But, it's a game week, so got to treat it like a business trip. I haven't seen a lot of those guys in a long time, a lot of those coaches in a long time, so it'll be good to catch up with them for a hot second. And definitely just to play against them. I mean, I've been there like 7 years, so – I know all the ins and outs of the organization, all that good stuff, but to put on the pads and go against them will be a different type of experience. So I'm pretty excited about that.
We saw Barry Church in Pittsburgh, his hometown, last year, take an interception to the house and do the whole Marshawn Lynch tried to as he fell into the end zone. And who knows what happens today. This is a Dallas Cowboys team that wants to run the ball first, though. They haven't had a lot of success throwing the ball down the field to get it down toward Barry Church.
No, they don't have explosive playmakers. One guy we haven't talked much about today is Allen Hurns, who's been very quiet in their wide receiver core this season. Had some really nice years here in Jacksonville when they didn't have a whole lot going on in the passing game, but has been pretty quiet. You got a rookie in Michael Gallup. The guy maybe to watch for is Tavon Austin because he's got the speed that if anybody is going to give you some trouble in the open field, it might be him. But there's no one real pass catcher that stands out for Dallas.
All right, this portion of the Publix Tailgate Show is brought to you by your Southern Ford dealers. Each week we visit with a head team physician for the Jaguars, Dr. Kevin Kaplan of Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. And with all the changes this week on the roster, transactions, guys going down for the year, in some cases guys going on IR, maybe could come back, well, you have to have guys come in their place. Jamal Charles has joined this football team. They've signed another running back off a practice squad. But from the medical perspective, when a new person comes into this facility, especially on a game week, what's the process? How do you find out medical history? Where do you start with a physical? And when is all that done?
Yeah, this happens quite often, and they're always looking at guys. The scouts are always bringing in players for us to look at. Obviously, they're looking at their skills. We're looking at their medical histories, and they bring guys in all the time, and especially in times where there are injuries, they're looking to work the roster. So they'll bring guys in from all over the place, and anybody who's either a free agent, from a practice squad, and when they come in, they have a packet that they need to fill out, and they'll give us their medical history. We have information already on a lot of the guys because we may have seen them back at the combine. So I have a dictation already, and then I look at their injuries that they've had since I've seen them last, or if I've never met them, I'll do a thorough history on them and a physical exam. We'll get x-rays and then send people for MRIs, and that'll give me a sense of how they are, where they are now in terms of their health, because I have to report back to Tom Coughlin and to Dave Caldwell and to Coach Marone and let them know, hey, this guy has such and such injury and it puts him at risk, or he's healthy and is ready, he's good to go.
As a civilian, though, I could call my old doctor and say, hey, send the records over. That doesn't work in the NFL like that, does it?
No, we can reach out to other teams, but, they're just as busy as we are. So, and I'm not reaching out to a previous doctor and saying, hey, could you give me their information? We hope that they're being honest with us and tell us all their injuries. But a lot of it sometimes is investigational medicine. If a guy comes in and had, ACL reconstruction and which is a ligament reconstruction and part of the cartilage removed, and we say, hey, how's your knee? The answer is always, I'm perfect. So they're not, if they're sore, if they're painful, so I have to look for things, whether it's swelling or, that's helpful to look at an MRI, because you can really get a sense for the longevity of someone's knee based on how much cartilage loss there is. So a lot of it is investigational and trying to figure out how long these guys will last and is it safe for them to get on the field.
And this has to happen quick. If they're to contribute basically this weekend and they get here during the week, you need to have that thing done and down and down to a science to get these guys ready to play.
Yeah, so we'll bring them in really early to the office. We'll get all the x-rays right then, and if I need an MRI, they go straight off to MRI. So it's not like, if you or I get an MRI, say, all right, we'll order an MRI and I'll see you back in a week or two. You're absolutely right. This has to happen literally within hours of them coming in. I have to have an answer, and I have to be able to give a good response to the guys as to where they stand.
Well done this week. You had a lot on your plate.
That's right. Let's see if it pans out. Hopefully it will.
Hopefully it'll turn into a W this week. Appreciate your time.
All right, see you next week.
Dr. Kevin Kaplan, the head team physician for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Always a nice visit. A busy week indeed for him. We'll return with Lamb at Large. David Lamb is in studio, plus a visit with Brad Sham, the longtime voice of the Dallas Cowboys. And we're about 20 minutes away or so from the announcement of the inactives for today's game. The Jags and the Cowboys at 4:25. And from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, this is Jaguars Radio.
If you've ever been in a vehicle crash, then you know the impact caused by a collision. Now imagine the force of a crash so great, people are killed. My name is Eric. I sat behind the wheel and drove drunk. I caused a crash that killed 2 young women, Megan and Lisa. Now, I sit alone in my jail cell. Megan and Lisa were taken forever, and their families and friends were left devastated. Don't drink and drive, and remember our roadways are connected to our families.
This message brought to you by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Jaguars fans, Ashley Home Store is where you'll find the perfect Tempur-Pedic mattress to power your life. As the #1 Tempur-Pedic retailer in America and the official furniture and mattress store of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Ashley Home Store offers Jaguars fans special pricing and 72 months no-interest financing. Just tell them the Jaguars sent you. Plus, a portion of every mattress sold helps provide free beds to local children in need. Shop for Tempur-Pedic at Ashley Home Store today and go Jaguars. Subject to credit approval. See store for details.
At ViStar, we believe in better. Better convenience. So members can bank any way they want. Whether it's at a branch, on a mobile device, or at one of more than 20,000 fee-free ATMs across North America. We believe that people have better things to do with their time. If you believe that convenience is better, join ViStar. We never forget that it's your money. All loans subject to approval, insured by NCUA.
Hi, I'm Tito Beveridge, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In the mid-'90s, I bought a piece of land in Austin with a credit card check and built the very first micro-distillery in the history of the state of Texas. I'd never built a still before, so I did some research and designed and built my own pot stills based on Prohibition-era bust photos I found in the library. I didn't know then that this was kind of the start of the American craft distilling movement, right here in Austin, Texas. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
Attention Jags fans, this is your chance for you and 3 of your friends to fly to Houston to see the Jaguars take on the Houston Texans December 30th. All you have to do is download the free Money Pages app today, and you can enter to win airfare, hotel stay, and tickets to the big game, all covered. The savings don't stop there. When you download the free Money Pages mobile app, you'll unlock great local savings on the go. So it's simple. Pick up your phone, go to the App Store, and search for the free Money Pages app. Good luck, and go Jaguars!
Hey there, I'm a glue stick, so I have one job. I glue kid stuff. So sorry for being jealous of Geico, who does a ton more. Like give you 24/7 access to thousands of licensed agents. And Geico has been around for over 75 years and has a 97% customer satisfaction rating. While I've just got mediocre adhesive skills, Geico also has an award-winning mobile app. Uh-oh, arts and crafts time. No eating the glue stick, Miss Lydia!
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Back at the HannanyAutos.com studio at TIAA Bank Field, the Jags and the Cowboys at 4:25 at AT&T Stadium. Network coverage at 3:30 with countdown to kickoff. Each week, we visit with the guru, David Lamb. Here he is in studio with Lamb at Large.
All excited, another Jaguar Sunday. Good afternoon, gentlemen. I want to talk about the window today. The window is that period when NFL teams think that they're serious contenders.
We'll get Dave. Let's move you over here just a moment. We've got a little. It's okay. Let's get in there, Dave. Hit us. Can you hear us?
Yeah,
we got you.
I got you. Thank you. You got me. That's all that matters.
Yes, sir.
All right. Good afternoon. It's great to be here. Beautiful day here in Jacksonville. I hope it's that nice in Dallas. But it doesn't matter in Jerry's world, right? They got a roof they can put over, whatever.
That's right.
But anyway, I want to talk about the window today. The window is that period of time when NFL teams think they are serious contenders for the Super Bowl. It's only about a 3 or 4 year period, usually, with the salary cap and free agency and the biggest bugaboo of all in the NFL, injuries. 3 or 4 years is about as long as it usually lasts for teams. The Jaguars think they're in that window. And certainly last year they came within 10 minutes, even a couple of plays of being in the Super Bowl. I've never thought the window was very large for the Jaguars, though, because I don't think you could be seriously a contender year after year for a while unless you have a quarterback that consistently plays at least above average. And I think until Bortles could quit having, when his bad games, instead of being like average, they're usually horrible like last week. But anyway, the Jaguars still think that they got that little bitty window open. But what's happening this year, and it's something that last year they were very fortunate, and it didn't bother them, the injury bug. Last year they got by so well. Allen Robinson goes down early. They had a few nicks here and there. But by and large, they had their players and healthy. That's a very fortunate thing. And this year they're becoming a mass unit, down to their third left tackle. The Jaguars played a team last year that was down to the third tackle, and I know experts like you and Mike understood the seriousness of that. And I'm not being facetious. You don't have to chuckle there, but I know that you appreciated what a big problem that was. But I don't think the average fan did, because if it's not a name player, a quarterback, a running back, they usually don't think it's so serious. But the Jaguars down to the third tackle. Their center and right guard have been nicked up. They keep trying to find a tight end. Well, the new one, he's already on the IR. Their star quarterback can't get on the field because of hamstrings. So we're just seeing all of these injuries for the Jaguars, and I think it's very critical that Bortles just at least be average. On your bad days, at least be average. Have that 18 for 29 for 198 yards and maybe a touchdown and no picks. But you can't have the 4 interception day. You can't have the complete meltdown like they have. So I think that today's game is important for that reason. And I think the Jaguars are still trying to establish that they are in the window. If injuries and Bortles don't kill them, they ought to win today. They're a better team than Dallas. If they play their normal game, even as dinged up as they are, this is a game the Jaguars should win. I don't think last week's loss was horrible and all that crippling. I thought the defense actually played pretty well. So this team is very much still in the picture, but they can't have any more injuries. Bortles has to pick up his game. And again, I don't worry. He's had some great games. And those aren't what worries me. We know he's capable. But like I said, he either has that A game or it's a D game. Well, how about some C-plus games? The defense will help carry you. I think they're good enough to get it done. I think Doug Marrone really pushes a lot of the right buttons. So the coaching, the defense, Bortles needs to play better, and, of course, they just can't stand any more injuries. So are the Jaguars really in that window? Well, maybe, but the window's not wide open. It's just a small crack. Each game becomes important right now for them. I heard y'all talk about a must-win. It's not a must-win, and you know that. But it's an important game. They want to win it. And here they are, though, only just getting into the second quarter with all these injuries. They truly, truly can't afford it. It's almost like they're being punished this year for all of their good fortune last year and not getting hurt. So my prediction, Jaguars win today. They get back on the train. I just want to see Bortles have a good, competent game. You don't have to throw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. Just don't have a meltdown, please. And I think Jamal Charles may surprise Jaguar fans. I'm excited about that. Well, we saw guys like John Riggins and Marcus Allen, great running backs, but all of a sudden in the middle of their careers either didn't play, got benched, Riggins retired, came back, and they were healthy. They didn't get hit for a couple of years, and they finished up great. Hopefully Jamal Charles will fall into that category if his knee is okay. So go Jaguars. They still are in the window, but the window's very, very just cracked a little bit, JP.
The glass half full for you today, it sounds. It's kind of.
But I'm talking about the big picture. Yeah. And again, if they're in the window, it's not like it's wide open. It's just a little cracked a little bit.
At least it's open.
But that's right. It's better to have a little bit of the window open then none of it opened.
Have a great day, Dave.
Go Jaguars and kick the snot out of the star. I think they'll do it. Double-digit win, 31.
Wow.
31-14, something like that, yeah.
Wow, Dave. Positive Dave. I like positive Dave.
How about pro-Jaguars, Dave?
Okay, that's better. That's better.
Thank you, buddy.
David Lamb with Lamb at Large. Let's go behind enemy lines with a closer look at the Dallas Cowboys. We visit with the voice of the Dallas Cowboys, Brad Sham. He's been at it for 40 years. They're naming booths after you now. How are you?
Just one booth, JP.
Okay, one singular booth. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. It was a totally unexpected honor, and I'm very grateful for it.
Well, the owner is questioning coaching decisions. There's a wide receiver questioning play calling in Dallas. It just seems like another early Cowboy season. Is this fairly routine down there?
Well, it is when they lose, and what they said gets taken out of context and given a life of its own, and then that becomes a story. And so if you ask the owner a question, did you agree with the decision? And the owner says, well, I think that might have been a time to be bold and go for it. Now, he knows what's going to happen, but that's not the same thing as saying that he's questioning coaching decisions. He's answering a question, but it all comes with the territory, and especially when you've been around this franchise for a while, it does all take on a life of its own, and you just have to kind of ride that out.
Yeah, not many places the owner speaks every week, and Dallas is one of those special places.
I would say none. He speaks more than every week. He's on the radio. He does a post-game press conference outside the locker room. That's who he is.
It's his football team. He can do whatever he wants, that's for sure.
There you go.
Zeke Elliott and Jalen Ramsey will be tied at the hip because of that draft. The Cowboys went with Zeke. The Jaguars went with Jalen. Looking back at that draft, how do you kind of look at those decisions for both franchises?
Well, I think that from the Jaguars' point of view, I mean, there were three what were considered at the time to be elite players in that draft, and so at that point, Joey Bosa was gone, and Ezekiel was gone, and so whether they would have taken Ramsey anyway, which is probably the case, but whether they would or not is moot because they didn't have the chance to make a decision. And you can say the same thing about the Cowboys and Bosa. Would they have taken Bosa? I don't know. They really liked Bosa, and they really liked Jalen. I do recall some conversation at the time that the Cowboys thought he might be more, some in the organization thought Jalen might be more of a safety than a corner. And there was a lot of talk about that in pre-draft stuff. Now, obviously, he's turned out to be a preeminent corner. And if you had evaluated him as a preeminent corner, would you have taken him? Maybe. But I think from the Cowboys' point of view, with the resources they'd already spent in offensive linemen, having a guy who looked like he had a chance to be a Hall of Fame running back, it was not a bad call. And I think that they're both happy. I mean, I think either team would have been happy with either guy. And it wasn't the Cowboys didn't like Ramsey, but with the resources they had spent on offensive linemen, to have an opportunity to get a running back like that seemed to make a lot of sense.
Zeke Elliott's leading the league in rushing with a losing record. I mean, that's why is that the case? What makes him so good, especially this season right now? What's he doing well?
Yeah, he's a special runner. He really is. And he's maturing. He's needed to mature, and he is doing that. And he has what rare running backs of his size had. There's different kinds, as you know. There's I'm standing in a conference room right now at their complex, and there's pictures of former players from the Landry era on the wall, and one of them is Tony Dorsett. And so Tony was a guy who was a different style of back. He was of the Sayers and although somewhat smaller Simpson mold. He was elusive, Barry Sanders-ish. And Ezekiel is not that. He's not quite as big and bruising as Earl Campbell, but he is an unusual combination of speed and power. He's a very good blocker, and he's a very good receiver. And so when you have an opportunity to get someone who has those gifts, then you better be sure what you're doing when you pass him by. And he has that great running back's ability. The same reason the Giants took Barkley with the second pick. Whether you can get arguments all day that they should have taken a quarterback, but I understand why they took Barkley, because when you get a guy like that and like Ezekiel Elliott is, then they make 4 yards out of what would have been 2. They make 1.5 yards out of what would have been a 3-yard loss. They'll turn a 6-yard gain into 20, and then they can go 80. And they can change games, and they can change the way you approach offensive football, and that's just the kind of talent he is.
Brad Sham with us, the voice of the Dallas Cowboys. On defense, front seven's pretty strong, but they're much stronger when Sean Lee is available. What's his situation with the hammy? And Leighton Vander Esch playing pretty well in his place, Brad.
Well, I would say it's almost certain that Sean will not play, but they drafted Vander Esch for a reason, and he's living up to every bit of it. He looks like a really serious player, and the other part of the equation for them is Jalen Smith. You know, there's one of the storylines, JP, as you just pointed out, for this game is Elliott and Ramsey, but there's also the storyline of Jalen Smith and Miles Jack, both of whom were thought to be huge medical risks. And, you know, there were a lot of people who loved Miles before he got hurt. And my recollection of their situations was that in Smith's case, there was no guarantee that he would ever be back to anything resembling what he was at Notre Dame. But if he did, then he could have a very long career. And the conversation, whether it was right or not, my recollection of the conversation about Miles, that people thought that he had a better chance of being ready sooner, but the nature of his injury made him a little bit of a longer-term risk. And, you know, hopefully that won't be the case, because he's a gifted player, and it's fun to watch. It was fun to watch him in college. But that's another storyline that ties these teams together. You know, I think the Cowboys were really criticized for taking Smith where they took him. The Jaguars a little less so for taking Miles where they took him. But both of them, I think, probably wound up getting lucky.
Can this Cowboys team right the ship, and how hot is Jason Garrett's seat right now?
It's hot. Interestingly, I think it's less hot with the owner than it is with the public and the media. But there's only so long when results aren't there that the owner, this one or any owner, has the wherewithal to stand back and keep those critics at bay. Because sooner or later, any owner's business associates and wealthy buddies start talking to him about, why are you keeping that guy? And then he starts to wonder. Jason Garrett's the head coach for a reason, and the owner has confidence in him, and he knows him, and more importantly, Garrett knows Jerry. But you have to have results. You have to win. And so his seat is hot. Can they turn it around? Yes. The thing that's distressing is that their passing game by the way, it's not all one thing, but the passing game has been thoroughly dysfunctional in ways that no one expected. A lot of people said, okay, their receivers don't look like they're great, but they could be good enough to compete. But you've had some bad penalty situations. You've had a couple of blocking breakdowns. You've had some poor receiver play. You've had some poor quarterback play. The great thing about football is it doesn't take 3 pieces to go wrong to screw something up. It only takes 1. And when you get 2 or 3 that are not just humming along, then the result is what it is. Their offense is ugly right now, but they work hard. Their mood and attitude is great. Now, it's not going to be easy to get it right against this defense, but can they turn it around and be competitive? Yeah, they can, but whether they will or not, I don't know.
Brad Sham, the voice of the Dallas Cowboys. He's been at that franchise for 40 seasons as both a color analyst and most recently, of course, as the longtime play-by-play announcer. We'll return to the Publix Tailgate Show with Inactives.
Jags wide receiver D.D. Westbrook visits with Mike Dempsey as well. The Jags and the Cowboys at 4:25 in Arlington, Texas. And from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, this is Jaguars Radio.
Okay, so we're here to see who's going to go for the win.
First off, Molly took it to the next level with the chairs and the coolers.
Here comes Emma, bringing it with those killer boots and that portable grill. Oh my, I think she's going for it.
Mom, I think the hot dogs are on fire.
Hold on, honey. Ladies, where did you go to get ready for the game?
Stein Mart. Visit any one of our 6 locations in Jacksonville for all your tailgating needs as we proudly support the Jaguars this season. Stein Mart. Saving is a beautiful thing.
On-airport parking at Jacksonville International Airport will help punt the stress from your travel itinerary. Their garage facilities offer defensive coverage from the weather and are just one 50-yard dash from the terminal. Economy parking rates are salary capped at $5 a day. Extra points for free shuttle service to and from the airport. To learn how on-airport parking options tackle the competition, visit flyjax.com. That's flyjax.com.
At Papa John's, we like to say, better sausage, better beef, better bacon, better julienne-cut Canadian bacon, better pepperoni. Papa John's. For a limited time, get a medium meats pizza made with 5 premium meats free of artificial flavors or fillers. Or our new barbecue meats pizza made with smoky Southern-style barbecue sauce for only $6.99 each. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. Prices and participation may vary. Taxes, tip, and delivery fee extra.
Whether it's a car accident, storm damage, or a fire, when the unthinkable happens, it doesn't matter if you save money in 15 minutes. In this moment, it doesn't matter if your neighbor has the same insurance you do. In this moment, what matters is that your independent insurance agent and the companies that stand behind them have you covered. At Insurance Office of America, they work with you to make sure that no matter what comes your way, you're ready. Call IOA today at 1-800-243-6899 and speak with an agent. At IOA, they've got you covered.
Switch to Comcast Business and get an amazing deal on fast, reliable internet. For a limited time, get started with 75 megabit internet for $49.95 per month when you add 2 voice mobility lines. Just one more way Comcast Business goes beyond AT&T. Call 1-800-501-6000 today. Comcast Business. Beyond fast.
Offer ends 11/21/18. Restrictions apply. New business customers only. 2-year agreement required. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra subject to change. Connection Pro backup limited to up to 6 hours.
Only in Jacksonville can you tour a state-of-the-art hospitality show home before a game. Hi, this is Lauren Brooks. Make it a point to visit the Dreamfinders Home's newest stadium home before any home Jaguars game. Take a free tour and register for a chance to win amazing grand prizes. Dreamfinders Homes will select one winner per home game. Only at Dreamfinders Homes Stadium Home 2.0 by Gate 4 at TIAA Bank Field. Dreamfinders Homes, homes built to fit your lifestyle.
The Publix Tailgate Show continues right now.
Welcome back. JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey from the HananiahAutos.com studio in Jacksonville. Week 6, the Jags and the Cowboys at 4:25. The inactives have been announced. Let's start with the Jaguars inactives today. DJ Hayden still battling the toe issue. The cornerback inactive. Leonard Fournette with a hamstring issue ruled out early in the week and has missed the majority of this season with that hamstring issue. He's out today. Trey Herndon, cornerback, inactive. Eli Anku, defensive tackle. Chris Reed, offensive lineman. New addition, offensive lineman Eric Flowers, inactive. He came to the team on Friday. And DeJuan Smoot, the defensive end, inactive. TJ Yeldon will start, of course, at running back. You'll see some Jamal Charles today, most likely, and Josh Walker will start at left tackle, his first career start. He's played in 18 games in his career at the guard position, a backup or a fill-in role, and came in last week at tackle after Wells went down, but Walker will make his first career start, and now in his 4th NFL season today at left tackle. And also, Matt Overton's here, too, long snapper. Carson Tinker's on
back.
Injured reserve. He's back. He had the arm issue last year, of course. And so the band is back together, at least for a moment.
All right, for the Dallas Cowboys, the big one out today. We knew it was going to be the case. Sean Lee, their linebacker in the middle there. Leighton Vander Esch has played well in his absence, so Dallas pretty fortified at that linebacking core. He is out today, along with backup quarterback Mike White. Bryce Butler, one of the reserve wide receivers, will not suit up. Another linebacker named Joe Thomas is not available for Dallas today. Karan Reed, a defensive tackle. Xavier Suafilo, the guard, and Dalton Schultz, one of the reserve tight ends, among those inactive today for the Dallas Cowboys.
All right, inactives. Jalen Ramsey is active. There was some question about that.
He was questionable. That's why there was question.
There were plenty of questions. They've been answered.
Yes, so that's good. Look, I don't know if there's one guy you say, wow, Jalen, go take that guy out of the offense today. I think it's whoever lines up in your side kind of situation, but always better to have Jalen than to not.
D.D. Westbrook sat down with you this week.
He did. It's hard to remember. He's only played 12 games in the National Football League, right? Not even a full season of experience. We saw a couple weeks ago, had a breakout game with 13 targets, caught a bunch of balls, over 100 yards. Last week, very quiet. It's kind of the nature of this wide receiver core. You don't know where it's going to come from on a given week. Didn't have a single target in the first half, but he's got game-breaking ability. We know as a former Blitnikoff Award winner and a Heisman finalist, so hopefully he can show that as the season goes on with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's listen in. Brought to you by Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good. Sitting down for a few minutes with Jaguar wide receiver D.D. Westbrook. D.D., a moment ago you told me great week of practice. How important is that to kind of get the bad taste of a loss out of your mouth to just really start fresh and get that good feeling the next week?
It's huge. Everybody is still, depressed about the loss last week, but at the end of the day, it's a new week. And so obviously that goes with going out there and, of course, preparing ourselves for the game that we have coming up, and which is the Dallas Cowboys.
You guys are, the 24-hour rule. You dwell on a win or a loss either way, and then you got to turn the page. Fans, media, we can live in it for the whole week. You got to realize, obviously, you got 11 games left. There is so much of this season, and you're sitting right where you were last year. That every one of your goals is still out there available for you.
Most definitely, and obviously we know that as a team. It's a long season, and so with that being said, there's a lot of football games left to be played, and we can't change the past, but the only thing we can change is obviously what's going forward.
For you, how much more comfortable are you in year two? A lot of people say you make a big jump from your first season to your second season, one of the biggest jumps you'll make just because you know what to expect.
Right. So last year I can honestly say, obviously at this point I was kind of injured, but when I came back I was so nervous that it's crazy, and from this point, yes, I still get jitters, but at the end of the day, when I go out there, I feel like I'm at home, I'm more comfortable in the offense. I know the system a lot better. Obviously my quarterback, me and him, and the timing is going great at this point. So I feel like I'm in high school again.
That's a great way to feel,
yeah,
right? You feel
definitely
like on your top of your game. Is there a specific aspect of your game that you feel like you're more improved at this year? I'm sure you try to work on everything, but what one specific area do you feel like you're better at this year than you were last season?
My route running. Coming out of college, I tried getting better at it, but obviously I was set back through the injury or whatnot. But as I got back, I was trying to get everything going, but it was so hard because of the amount of time. I was pretty much thrown into the fire, I would say, coming back last year. So now going through OTAs, going through camp, everything, I just had enough time to fine-tune myself and my route running ability. And I feel like as of right now, that's what has improved a lot.
We've seen it. We've seen the results on the field. I know you guys were planning on having Marquise Lee be a big part of this offense, but, hey, you and Keelan Cole and Dante Moncrief are picking up the slack. What's the competition like between you guys? Is it kind of friendly? Do you push each other in that regard to see who gets the better of each other in a given day?
Most definitely. Of course, we push each other, and we know that we're the best wide receiver core out there, and whenever we break out, that's what we break out with. Obviously it's a standard held in the room within us four, which is DJ Chark added into that, and we know that we have to go out there and make plays. The offense, of course, thrive off of us. We make that big play down the field. It makes things a lot easier as far as play calling, as far as the next play that's being set up, so all that matters. And with that being said, we have to go out there and compete, not with the defense, but with ourselves.
Certainly,
and that's the biggest challenge.
Yeah, excuse me. Certainly didn't mean to slight DJ Chark, who really kind of had a couple of breakout moments. I know he's got more in the tank, but it's nice to see him make a couple of big plays last week.
Most definitely. And obviously, I've been talking to him. I look at him like a younger brother, coming up, because I was exactly where he is, last year. And I'm just telling him it's going to come. Don't rush it. Just be patient. Football, it's a crazy game. You know what I mean? And it's hard because you have those plays in your head that you want to make, that you know you can make, and it's easy. But once you get out there, you know, it's kind of tough because you have these defenders, you have everything going on at one time, and the game is going 100 miles an hour. You know, so at times you just got to be able to harness that, slow the game down, and, of course, make those plays when they come your way.
I got to imagine when you're at Oklahoma, you're surrounded by Cowboy fans. There got to be a ton of Cowboy fans at Oklahoma, I would think. Is that the case?
No.
No, really?
No, not necessarily. Everybody in Oklahoma are OU fans.
Okay, so it's more just a college thing as opposed to an NFL thing then for those that kind of thing. I was wondering, you know, if this was a big bragging rights game for you, then maybe it's not, right? As much as I would think it would be.
For me personally, yes. You know, because my whole family is like Dallas Cowboy everything. You know what I mean? And so there's like banners all throughout the small town that I'm from. You know, and so obviously that's going to be great to go back home and get this win. You know, and pretty much throw it in their face at the end of the year.
For you, Cowboys on film, what have you seen this week?
I've seen a hard, physical football team, you know, and we know that going in. We've seen them previous weeks before, you know, on TV, the game that they played last week. They got an aggressive front seven, and we have to go out there and we have to compete.
All right, he is D.D. Westbrook. We've seen some great moments from you, hopefully a lot more. Good luck today getting that win against the Cowboys.
Thank you.
D.D. Westbrook. Yeah, he's starting
What's
to come
a throw
along.
in his family's face.
Love it. Love it. Absolutely. And good to see him coming along as the experience comes along here in Jacksonville as well. It's time for our weekly visit with Jaguars sideline reporter Rick Ballou. We call it Has Rick Lost It?
We leave about 4.5 hours before kick. Last week we arrived at Arrowhead at 8 a.m. for a noon start Kansas City time. Pouring, raining, place was packed. Today in Dallas, same deal, 4 hours before kick. And I tell you what, driving in here today, I saw more $70 parking signs than actually did vehicles in the parking lot. Makes you really wonder the entitlement of the Dallas Cowboys, which, yeah, got to believe is turning a little bit of a wine and cheese crowd. I mean, think about it. Jerry Jones in this great organization, they've only won 3 playoff games since they won the Super Bowl in 1996. Now, Jerry popped off again this week, and that in itself is ironic in this town, that Jerry Jones, the general manager and owner, has his own radio show. I mean, just give that a moment as far as what he does and how he is perceived with this football team. But the players are upset. He's called them out. Former Jaguar Alan Hearns has been critical of the play calling. Jason Garrett's on the hot seat. So this is all good news for the Jaguars, right? Well, maybe not. See, the Dallas Cowboys are a desperate team, and desperate teams take chances. They're also in a terrible conference. I mean, what will take, maybe 7 wins, 8, if that, to win the NFC East? Doug Marrone loves to break things into quarters, all right? 3-1 with the Jags through the first 4 games of the season. Here's a quarter for you, or at least 4 for you, if you look at the 4 games against the NFC East. The Jaguars should go 4-0. They already knocked off the Giants. They should win here today. Yeah, the Redskins are playing pretty good football so far early this afternoon, but they're a better team than Washington. Then we'll see what happens in London against Philadelphia. Today is all about ugly. Ugly can sometimes be good, especially in a field position game where both defenses will control this matchup. It's the good Blake week, so that's a positive. And as well, I don't think he'll throw for an interception today. Just like everyone else in Jacksonville, however, I'm concerned about his blind side, the left tackle, and the tight end. Can they protect him enough to win this football game? Today is about field goals. I see 5 overall, including 3 by Josh Lambo. Jackson will also add a touchdown, the only touchdown in the contest. When it's all said and done, the Jags knock off the Cowboys by a final of 16-6. JP?
All right. There you have it. Rick Ballou with Has Rick Lost It? It is interesting, Rick, if Rick's still with us here. We mentioned it with Brad Sham a moment ago. He's the only owner with his own radio show.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones.
I mean,
anywhere.
You know, I think of George Steinbrenner. I'm trying to think who else. Al Davis, maybe a little bit in a different way. But, I mean, he is unlike anything that we have ever seen. And I actually think he's a good football man. I mean, he drafted that offensive line. He took a shot, went out and got the talented linebacker, Jalen Smith, who was injured, and rested on him a little bit. But obviously a lot of pressure on Dak Prescott, a lot of pressure on Jason Garrett. So That alarms me a little bit. We'll see if they take some chances because of that this afternoon.
I like it, Rick. Have a great day on the sidelines there in Big D.
Thanks, guys.
Rick Ballou,
all right,
from AT&T Stadium in Arlington. Coming up on the Publix Tailgate Show, a visit with the Ozone. Jaguars.com senior writer John Oehser standing by. Jeff Lageman and Tony Baselli will be back as well for some final thoughts. Jaguars Radio Network coverage at 3:30 with countdown to kickoff. We're a little over an hour away from Week 6. The Jags and the Cowboys at AT&T Stadium, and from Jacksonville, this is Jaguars Radio.
Who's the Jaguars MVP? At Mellow Mushroom, it all depends on their favorite ingredients. Each month of the 2018 season, Mellow Mushroom will highlight a Jaguars player's most valuable pizza and raise money for a charity of their choice. Try the Funky Q and support Blake Bortles and the Blake Bortles Foundation and its work with first responders and individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Visit mellowmushroom.com and find a restaurant location near you.
Looking for a more comfortable way to camp or tailgate at Jags games? Visit Campers Inn RV for their integrity pricing guarantee. With their open and honest buying process, you'll never pay more for freight or dealer prep. There are no hidden fees in their prices ever. And as a proud sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they want to thank you for your support. That's why they're offering this season's game attendees $500 off the purchase of a new RV. Just show them your ticket. So visit Campers Inn RV, the RVer's trusted resource, I-10 West, exit 351, or campersinn.com today.
Be the MVP of your next tailgate with the official wing of the Jacksonville Jaguars from Dick's Wings and Grill. Whether at the stadium or cheering from home, game day every day with Dick's 365 wing varieties, burgers, wraps, and more. And for somewhere to catch all the sports action, Dick's Wings and Grill's 23 area locations have been a local fan favorite for more than 20 years. For the best wings, ice-cold craft beer, and best fans, feed where the big cats feast. Visit DicksWingsAndGrill.com for a location nearest you. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
This is Josh Lambo of the Jacksonville Jaguars alongside my dogs Lana and Wyatt. It's hard saying goodbye to these two on game day, but that all changed this year with the NFL's first ever in-stadium dog park thanks to our partnership with Pet Paradise. Are you ready to bring your furry friend to the stadium? Enter the Pet Paradise Top Dog Sweepstakes. Each week, 10 lucky winners will receive 2 game tickets, a parking pass, and the chance to bring your dog to Pet Paradise Park at TIAA Bank Field. Visit jaguars.com/petparadise and enter today.
Hi folks, Frank Frangie here for the best barbecue in town. That is Bono's. Head to Bono's today. 15 locations on the First Coast and 6 more at TIAA Bank Field. You see, Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. You want great barbecue, you want Bono's. Plenty of parking, clean family restaurants, and oh, by the way, the best barbecue you have ever had. So if you want great barbecue, head to Bono's today, the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Final moments of the Publix Tailgate Show. The Jags and the Cowboys at 4:25 at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Check out the daily shows on Jaguars.com and Jags social media. Jags Drive Time Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. And Jaguars Happy Hour Monday through Thursday starting at 4. Available on the official team website, Jaguars.com and Jags social media. Let's visit with the Ozone.
The Ozone.
Jaguars.com senior writer John Oehser joins us from AT&T Stadium in Arlington for the Jaguars and the Dallas Cowboys. Johnny O, what's up?
I am doing great, JP. You know why?
Why is that?
Because I think Tony Baselli might have gotten lost in Texas. I don't see him. And so me and Jeff are going to break it down for you. Jeff, I feel I don't know why I haven't been more nervous about this game all week. I know you are. I know you don't like the matchups. There's something tells me that Blake Bortles is going to have a big game, and maybe it's because I believe that Josh Walker with a week to work, with a week of prep, knowing he's going to play, can have a better game than he did last week. I don't know why I'm so optimistic, but I am.
If I was assured that Blake Bortles was going to have a strong day, I would feel good about the matchup.
Yeah.
But that's the question that you never know the answer to. It seems like week in and week out. And it's not just him; it's the offense as a whole, how they've been up and down, and it's a challenging game. I was talking to Nathaniel Hackett, the offensive coordinator, Johnny, and this is a challenging game for him too. Because he could only make the game plan so big, given the number of injuries that they've had on the offensive side of the ball, and I wonder how that's going to affect them as a team.
Well, and that goes to running back. It also goes to tight end. They're down so many skill guys. If, and it's a huge if they can get them blocked, I feel like the receivers have shown some signs. They didn't play poorly against Kansas City last week in terms of production. They played poorly in terms of closing drives. If they can get a couple of drives and get the receivers to do some things consistently they've been doing in spots, they need to get ahead early today, Jeff.
Well, and I think you bring up a great point there, and Tony, you would echo this as well. It seems like every game that the offense has had a fast start, it seems like the game goes well for this football team. So I think it's imperative that this offense, even though as many questions and injuries that they have, for them to have a fast start.
An amazing stat, Tony. No lead change for the Jaguars this season. They have led every victory. They have never led in a loss.
So we'll basically know within the first 15 minutes whether this game's won or lost. Is what you're telling me?
I'll start right, and we can pack up and hit the bus.
Well, I think that goes to the confidence of the quarterback. When he starts fast and he gets in a rhythm, he just plays better. And if he has some, I always look for with him, if he has some early ugly throws, then I'm like, uh-oh.
I start writing.
Yeah, because all of a sudden
you start writing.
But you know what I'm saying?
He had some last week now that were ugly.
Well, I was writing pretty early.
And Jeff, you know what I mean, though? It kind of feels like all of a sudden, here we go, and it gets out of control.
Well, and I think because of that, it comes down to which defense can win their matchup. And the Cowboys have a favorable matchup just because of the injuries the Jaguars have. But then the Jaguars' defense is facing a one-dimensional offense. And if you're a dominant defense, we've heard the players talk, all year long about how dominant they are, how good they are. If you're dominant, if you're good, then you make a one-dimensional offense look very simple and easy to defend.
And until last week, when they played the most two-dimensional offense that they've played so far, they were very dominant. I expect them to be dominant. Again, if they can get to double digits by half, meaning the Jaguars, I think they win this game. I think that's the kind of game it is.
It's a couple of things. I don't think they've been dominant this year. I think they've been very good this year.
Yeah, pretty dominant.
Well, no, because this is dominant, John. When you have to get a stop in Tennessee when it's tied,
true.
The defense that doesn't go anywhere. Like last week, if you think about it, they gave up 23 points and had 2 turnovers. Okay, that's a very good job against that offense we saw last week. The problem is the bar isn't being good. It's being great and dominant. And dominant defenses take over the game. They were dominant last year, where they won football games and took them over. And we had thought that this year was going to be a little bit different because the offense had taken a couple steps. I don't think the offense has. For this team to win, the defense still has to be dominant. They have to take the level up, a play up, and create more turnovers, more chaos for the opposing offense.
I guess I still think that in this day and age, a dominant defense has to get at least a smidge of help from the offense. In the 2 games, they haven't been dominant.
They didn't last year.
What's that?
They didn't last year.
Well, it was 6th ranked offense in the league. I mean, they got a lot of help in a lot of games from the offense. In the 2 losses this year, they've got none.
Yeah, but what always kind of stands out, and I'm kind of with Tony on this, I don't think they're dominant yet. Now, I'm thinking back last year when you need to win a game, you score on defense.
Right.
Or you get a takeaway to set the offense up for an easy score. The San Diego game, the Cleveland Browns game.
Yeah.
Even the Arizona game didn't work, but they got the sack.
Yeah, but they got the lead when nothing else was going their way.
Yeah. They gave it to the offense on a silver platter, and the offense couldn't produce. So those are the kind of things. And look, I understand that. Look, it doesn't happen every year to that extent because, that was, I think, a very rare occurrence for any defense in the National Football League historically.
Yeah, they came back with defense last year, and that's incredibly hard to do in this day.
And I think so. As I look at this team, and this is where I go back to, is they have to be that way. They have to be dominant, and if they want to be dominant, if you get a lead, then it's over. Right. Or if you tie the game, and it's unfair. I was having this conversation with Todd Walsh today. it's actually unfair because of this, but it's no different than a player. Like I talk about Jalen Ramsey. His ceiling is greatness, all-time great, best corner in the league. Right now, he's playing really good football. But that's still a deficit to where he should be and can be. And it's the same with this defense. And I go back to that Tennessee game, guys. It was tied up. The offense was awful, and you need your defense to get a stop and get the ball right back, and they couldn't. And this is a game, I get the feeling, where the defense is going to have to carry a big portion of the load.
If not get a score, get a short field.
To help this offense score some points.
Don't you feel like this is the least two-dimensional offense they faced this year, though? I mean, this is the struggling passing offense.
Well, I would say the Jets, similar to the Jets. Similar to the Jets.
Yeah, but they ain't the Jets don't have a running game like this.
I agree with that. This is better than the Jets, but the Jets were very one-dimensional. You never felt like they could throw the ball against this defense. I feel the same way coming in today. But Ezekiel Elliott can get going.
He's a great back.
And he's a very good back, and their right side.
He's not very good. He's great.
And their offensive line is pretty good. It's a pretty good offensive line still, even with the injury. So I think it's a big test. I think the first team to 17 wins this game. And I think the Jaguars will be that team because the defense is better.
I still have a feeling, Jeff. I still have a feeling they win this one. I have a feeling Blake has a big game. I don't know why.
Now, I don't have a feeling that they're going to lose. I just think that this is going to be a tightly contested game, and I think it could swing either way at the very end of the ball game. And I hope that the Jaguars, offensively or defensively, make a play to win.
All right, I'm going to say this. If, John, you feel that way?
I do.
Then I think
no, because I swung.
No,
I swung and whiffed last week.
No,
I thought they were winning big
early, but then you came in the booth and you said, "With the rain, I got a different feeling." I think.
Well, yeah, the rain. Yeah,
you called it. You've called. You've been 5 for 5, and if you think Blake has a big day and they win, I'm going with John. It's a blowout, boys.
This is my least confident feeling, but
wait a second. I'm got to help you out here.
Out of 6, this is my least confident, only because you just don't know what this team is with injuries. But something about whenever we think Blake's not going to do it, he seems to do it.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. There they are in Dallas. Jeff Logman, Tony Waselli, and senior writer John Ozier. That'll do it for the Publix Tailgate Show. We'll come back with Jaguars Radio Network coverage, countdown to kickoff, featuring Pete Prisco, Fred Taylor, and the final word with head coach Doug Marrone. We're an hour away, less than an hour away, from Week 6, the Jags and the Cowboys. And from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, this is Jaguars Radio.
Jags fans, are you paying with pride wherever you go? Dining out, at the store, wherever you are. Now you can with the Jaguars Visa debit card, only available at TIAA Bank. It's yours free when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. So are you ready to up your financial game? Visit a financial center near you or find us at TIAABank.com/JagsCard. The official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars, TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC.
In football, adding a key player at the right position could be huge for any team. The same thing is true in the business world, and nobody knows that better than Web.com. Not only are they a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're the key marketing player to hundreds of businesses right here in Jacksonville. Visit Web.com to get a free review of your website and online marketing. It's like getting a key player to try out for your business for free. Just visit Web.com to get your free review.
Attention Jags fans, this is your chance for you and 3 of your friends to fly to Houston to see the Jaguars take on the Houston Texans December 30th. All you have to do is download the free Money Pages app today, and you can enter to win airfare, hotel stay, and tickets to the big game, all covered. The savings don't stop there. When you download the free Money Pages mobile app, you'll unlock great local savings on the go. So it's simple. Pick up your phone, go to the App Store, and search for the free Money Pages app. Good luck, and go Jaguars.
Jaguars owner Shad Khan on creating the best customer experience.
Game day is special, and when the Jags take the field, we want every fan to have the best game day possible. That's why we partner with Dailies. They even have 3 locations in the stadium. They know what makes for a great customer experience. From the kickoff kit program to the way they treat our fans at the game, it's like they say, it's nicer here. I can't think of a better game day partner. I also happen to like their coffee.
To experience what Shad is talking about, visit a Dailies at TIAA Bank Field or any of our 29 Jacksonville locations.
Some things make a house your home. Like a quick heating oven that makes the aroma of warm chocolate chip cookies your thing. When cooking with natural gas, you get the best temperature control, save money, and earn a rebate up to $200. Who wants cookies? Your home. Our safe, reliable, efficient energy. Love natural gas. Find rebate details at peoplesgas.com.
This is the Pepsi that gets you stuff. Crack one open, and you could get a Weber grill or an acoustic guitar. Because when you collect codes on specially marked Pepsi products, you'll get summer rewards from Pepsi Stuff. We'll even get you tickets to see Dierks Bentley.
I like the sound of that.
We do too, Dierks.
Grab the Pepsi, enter the codes, get the stuff.
Drink Pepsi, get stuff. Pepsi Stuff Rewards Program subject to official rules at PepsiStuff.com. Open to legal U.S. residents 18 plus. All rewards subject to availability and may have limited quantities while supplies last.
Cook puts it down. Josh kicks it up. The 54-yard field goal attempt is good. Well, of course it's good. Lambeau is 8 of 8 on the year, and the Jags lead it 16-0.
Welcome to Countdown to Kickoff. Countdown to Kickoff. In the next hour, we'll bring you everything you need to know about today's game and the latest news from around the NFL. You'll hear from Jaguars great Fred Taylor, Pete Prisco, and Jaguars head coach Doug Marrone. Countdown to Kickoff is brought to you by Baptist Health, Farah and Farah, Geico, Ticket Exchange, and by TIAA Bank. Let's get the countdown started. Here are Mike Dempsey and JP Shadrick.
In the midst of a difficult second quarter, the Jaguars hit the road for a second straight week. This week, a trip to Dallas. The Jacksonville Jaguars at 3-2 visit the 2-3 Dallas Cowboys. Kickoff set for 4:25 Eastern at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Welcome into Countdown to Kickoff. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey at the HananielAutos.com studio at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. Well, the Dallas Cowboys loss, win. 2 home wins, but only 2 wins, and the hot seat for the head coach is kind of warming up in Dallas. For the Jaguars, it's been a little bit of the same, off and on, some strong defense. They haven't taken the ball away a lot. Then you have an offensive performance like a week ago, and things start to struggle, and now all of a sudden the injury bug is here, and it all kind of comes together. So both sides need this game to kind of get back on track.
Oh, no question about it, JP. And at this point, I think you're just looking for W's. Doesn't matter how aesthetically pleasing they are, although on the odd-numbered weeks, the Jags have struggled a little bit offensively. Even number weeks, they've been spectacular. I don't know if that's going to hold up today. I think Dallas is a pretty imposing front seven, even with Sean Lee out of this football game. With the Jags' injuries mounting on the offensive side, I'll take a victory of any kind by any margin.
Yeah, win. Get the W.
You get to 4-2, you feel pretty good about yourself. I think you got, Houston coming in next week. Deshaun Watson's a little bit banged up. Got a chance to get to 5-2, get a division victory there. That's looking ahead, but you'd be ahead of last year's pace. And, as bad as it feels the week coming off a loss, a win today, I think, erases most of that, and you'll feel good coming home at 4-2.
Let's get to today's top stories. Plenty of changes for the Jags this week. One way to explain what's next for head coach Doug Marrone battling this adversity.
It's difficult. It's adversity, and it gives us a chance to, show where we can improve ourselves, and do a better job. No one, like I say, no one ever feels sorry for you, and we don't feel sorry for ourselves. But, I kind of get excited. I mean, it's a great challenge now. It's a challenge to play in this league when you get to that level, where you're bringing people in that are getting ready to play for you. I'm excited for those guys to have an opportunity, and I'm excited for us as coaches to see how we can use, those players and the players that we have, to the best of our ability.
A lot of players go on injured reserve this week. Corey Grant, the running back, is done for the year. Austin Safarian-Jenkins on IR, though he could come back in mid-December. You got the left tackle, Josh Wells, who's done for the year. The long snapper, for goodness sakes, went down as well. So busy week in the training room this week.
No doubt, and I think Josh Wells is the big one because he had played so well in place of Cam Robinson. I think they're confident in Josh Walker, and Josh Walker earned his spot here by showing versatility in the preseason. Hopefully he can hold up today against a pretty good pass rush. DeMarcus Lawrence is the key here. Likely line up against Jeremy Parnell, but they get David Irving back as well in that defensive line for the first time all season, and he's the kind of guy that is quiet for a month, and then he has a 2 or 3 week stretch where he looks like one of the best defensive players in the National Football League. So let's hope it's one of those quiet weeks for him in his debut in 2018.
Injuries at running back. Here comes Jamal Charles, an 11th-year veteran, to pick up the slack in the backfield.
Oh, yeah, I feel good, man. I feel like last year was just trying to get back the feel of the game and get back healthy again. Now I've been out for a while, but I also have time to get my body right and get stronger and get healthy, so I feel great.
Jamal Charles, TJ Yeldon will start, of course, and be the primary back here, but Charles brought in a veteran guy, can learn quickly a system, may not know the whole system, but can do enough maybe to contribute something if you need it in a pinch today.
I think he might. Look, he's a savvy guy. You give him a small package of plays that he can be familiar with. I think the thing that stood out to me was Doug Marrone. You listen to the sound of his voice when he talked about how Jamal Charles looked when they worked him out. He said, "Wow, you really look good." I think they were pleasantly surprised. He's a guy with a ton of experience. He can help you in the passing game. He's a good pass protector as well. So nice, solid all-around pickup if you had to go to the waiver wire, which obviously they did.
Defense trying to slow down the Dallas Cowboys running game, and Ezekiel Elliott, he's leading the league in rushing. Todd Wash and the Jags defense have a challenge this afternoon.
Obviously they probably got the best running back in the league. Ezekiel, the whole offense goes through him, not only against the run game but the pass game. And, they're really talented up front. Obviously, their offensive line good. Their tight ends doing a nice job of neutralizing defensive ends, creating angles for them to get to the perimeter. So it's going to be important that we, obviously set the edges to the defense and try to do everything we can to keep him between the tackles.
Defensive coordinator Todd Wash there. Yeah, it's all Zeke all day for the most part.
If you contain him, it's going to be hard for Dallas to score unless you turn it over and set him up with a short field. So, that's on Blake Bortles to be efficient and not necessarily conservative, but protective of the football today. And again, if Ezekiel Elliott doesn't go crazy, I find it hard to believe Dallas can score enough points to win this football game.
They haven't done much on the outside. They're not any big, huge playmakers in the wide receivers core. Alan Hearns is there, and he came over in free agency. He hasn't done a lot this season for them.
Caught a touchdown last week, but I think that might have been his only reception in the game. So.
And he just hasn't done a lot. They've got Cole Beasley, a guy who's been around there for a minute.
Michael Gallup,
Thompson,
the rookie they like.
It's just nobody.
Tavon
really,
Austin. It's a bunch of guys, right? They're kind of wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3s by NFL standards. Look, all these guys, anybody can beat you on a given day, right? So you got to respect them, but when you look at them on film, they certainly don't jump out at you.
We'll come back and look around the National Football League. The early games underway and winding down now in Week 6. The Jags and the Dallas Cowboys at 4:25 in Dallas. And from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, this is Jaguars Radio.
Brooks Rehabilitation is the official rehabilitation provider for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Brooks offers rehabilitation services such as inpatient care, outpatient therapy, skilled nursing, home health, assisted living, and memory care. They also have a wide range of community programs, as well as a comprehensive pediatric program. Brooks offers high-quality care from their expert clinical team to help you meet your rehabilitation goals. To learn more, visit brooksrehab.org. That's brooksrehab.org.
Did you hear? The last 2 years, the Jaguars returned a punt for a touchdown, earning local families $100,000 towards a Dreamfinders home. Lauren Brooks here, letting you know that could be you this season. Visit any Dreamfinders Homes model and register to win the Take It to the House promotion for your chance at scoring $100,000 towards your Dreamfinders home. Dreamfinders Homes, homes built to fit your lifestyle.
Storm season is here, and JEA is doing everything possible to prepare. We've invested millions in hardening our electric, water, and sewer systems to make them more resistant to extreme weather. By updating your contact information and signing up for alerts, you'll also be better prepared if a storm hits. And in the event we need to restore your power, we can keep you up to date on our efforts and get you back to normal sooner. Update your contact info today at JEA.com. JEA, building a more prepared community.
The CSI Companies has been getting the people business right for more than 20 years in Jacksonville. CSI proudly opened their doors just as the Jaguars came to town, and they've been valuable business partners for some of Jacksonville's largest companies. Do you have a need for temporary help during a busy time period? Looking for a team of IT consultants for a special project? CSI can help. Call them at 800-582-0828 or go to thecsicompanies.com. Don't partner with just anyone. Partner with the CSI Companies, proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Countdown to kickoff continues. The Jaguars and the Dallas Cowboys at 4:25 in Week 6 at AT&T Stadium. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey at the HananiahAutos.com studio in Jacksonville. Let's go around the National Football League, Mike, and a busy early window today.
Obviously, a lot of games in progress. Keeping an eye on the AFC South. The Indianapolis Colts with about 8 minutes remaining just turn it over to the New York Jets. Jets lead it by 9, 36-27. That game again with 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Houston trails Buffalo with 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Has been a decidedly low-scoring game. 13-10, the Bills lead it, although Houston has a 1st and 10 at the Buffalo 42, just outside the 2-minute warning. Atlanta just got a touchdown moments ago. They go up by 9 on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That one's 31-22 with a 6.5 to go in Atlanta. Arizona just got another one on the board, but they trail Minnesota pending the extra point by 11. It's 27-16, 7 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. Dalvin Cook missing that game with a hamstring injury. The LA Chargers went into Cleveland. And Cleveland's not going to go above 500 today as they're down 35-6, 13 minutes remaining. Melvin Gordon, 3 rushing touchdowns for the Chargers. Washington trying to bounce back from a humiliating defeat on Monday Night Football to the New Orleans Saints. Leads against Carolina at home 20-17, 5 minutes to go in that. And Washington has the ball on the Carolina 13-yard line with a 2nd and 8. Over in London, Seattle all over the Oakland Raiders. Amari Cooper left the game early with a concussion to not return. 27-3 Seahawks on top of Oakland there. Pittsburgh just tacked on a field goal with 3.5 minutes to play. They lead the Cincinnati Bengals by a score of 20-14. And Miami playing without Ryan Tannehill. Brock Osweiler in. Got off to an early 7-0 lead. The Bears came back, took a big advantage, but the Dolphins just tied it up on an Osweiler to Albert Wilson touchdown, and it's 21-all. That game with 7.5 to play. Chicago ball near midfield.
There you have it. A look around the early window in the National Football League. That Seahawks-Raiders game is at Wembley. It was originally scheduled to be at the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, but some delays in London in the construction. They had to move it to Wembley, and this is the first of 3 consecutive weeks of games in London. Of course, the Jaguars are there in 2 weeks to face the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll return with Mike Dempsey's weekly visit with CBS Sports senior writer Pete Prisco. The Jags and the Cowboys tee it up at 4:25, and from TIAA Bank Field, this is Countdown to Kickoff on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Jags fans, looking to buy a home or refinance your mortgage? Reap the rewards of going with TIAA Bank, the official bank of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Competitive rates, a range of lending options, and unbeatable service are just some of what sets us apart on the playing field. Connect with a TIAA Bank mortgage expert today by visiting them online at TIAABank.com/lending team. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, Equal Housing Lender.
Tailgate checklist. Cooler, check. Chips, check. Hot dogs, check. Jaguars hoodie, check. Insurance, check. This season, protect your team with insurance from Insurance Office of America. Keep everything you value safe, sound, and secure. Insurance Office of America. They work with you to make sure that no matter what comes your way, you're ready. Call IOA today at 1-800